guides to help you land your limit. Enjoy your stay at Gaston's in one of their private cottages or reserve a lodge for up to 20 people. Call now and let Gaston's help you plan your next getaway on the White River. 870-431-5202. That's 870-431-5202. Or learn more at Gastons.com. Gaston's, a first-class time, every time.
Hi, everybody. Larry Rath here from Rath Auto Resources and the Meineke Car Care Center, where all we do is keep you rolling. If you're looking for the best used car your money can buy, check out our great selection of road-ready certified vehicles with warranty. If you're trading or selling your car, let us give you a free second opinion and leave with a check in your hand. If you're keeping the car you have, let us take care of it for you in the Meineke Car Care Center. Plus, follow us on Facebook for special offers and fun contests. All the happiest drivers are rolling with Rath. Rath Auto Resources and the Meineke Car Care Center, Fort Smith.
Pickup truck, sports car, motorcycle, minivan, townhouse, two-story, farmhouse, fixer-upper. What you drive and where you live is different for everyone, so it's important to have insurance that fits your needs and is just right for you. At Shelter Insurance, we understand that, which is why our agents help you design a comprehensive auto, home, and life insurance plan. Insurance that fits just right.
Call Randy Milam in Alma or Brandon Zimmerman in Bartley. I have enough trouble deciding what's for lunch. Imagine how stressed I was during the home buying process. Thankfully, Jeff Marks at Weicker Realtors, the Griffin Company, took the reins.
That's right, Ty. Buying or selling a home is the biggest financial decision you'll ever make. I have years of experience and proven expertise that help guide you through the process.
All my female friends love my house. I'm not kidding either.
Trust me like Ty did to guide you through every step of the way. Call me, Jeff Marks, at 479-414-1193. Big decisions, simple solutions.
Every Thursday, take a trip down memory lane at Joe's Grill and Cantina. Joe's is bringing back the flavors you loved from Cuco's, the beloved restaurant that once called this place home. Join Joe's Grill and Cantina for Throwback Thursday and savor classic Cuco's dishes. It's the taste from the past with the vibrant atmosphere of Joe's. Don't miss out on the reunion every Thursday at Joe's Grill and Cantina. Come for the food, stay for the memories. 3400 South 74th Street, across from Harps.
ESPN Arkansas weather.
For today, partly sunny skies. Our high temperatures this afternoon in the mid to upper 70s. We'll see showers and a chance of some storms tonight. An overnight low will drop down upper 50s to low 60s. Showers with a few thunderstorms on Thursday, a high in the low 70s north, upper 70s south. I'm Sally Russell with your forecast on ESPN Arkansas.
The weather is brought to you by Kopp CDL Academy. Call them today at 479-632-1050. Kopp CDL Academy, expanding horizons.
KERX Paris Fort Smith. The Bud Light County.
Good morning. You see that thing outside? You see that bright yellow thing in the sky? Is it yellow or is it orange? Some people kind of argue about that thing. The sun is out. Oh, my goodness. It may rain at some point, but I am happy that we have sun on a Wednesday, and it's great to be with you today. We'll dry out a little bit. Phil Elson with Matt Jones, Kristen Johnston will be joined later in about, well, I guess in 15 minutes. Grant Hall and then Clay Henry at 12 noon for a couple of hours. Man, that looks really nice outside. It's been nothing but cloudy for the last 3-4 days. Rains, and now we get a chance to actually see the sunshine. Good morning, Matt Jones. I feel like I want to do the show outside today instead of within the confines of the four walls that make up the home studio.
Yeah, I like it. I can hear it in the sound in your voice. What a beautiful, beautiful Wednesday. We're going to have a fun show today.
I think so, too. SEC meetings underway yesterday, and today is the deadline. And we had a little confusion on the deadline for the draft because there are two deadlines for the draft. The one that matters more for for college basketball is the deadline that's later tonight at 11:59. That's the last moment that you can pull your name out of the draft and still retain college eligibility. So our eyes are on Adu Thero and Otega Owea from Kentucky, who's also kept his name in the draft for now. So, we'll see what happens over the next, what is it here? But a little under 13 hours for Adu to make this decision. And the draft grades still show second rounder. And the Razorback roster is still being built a little bit, too.
Well, the draft, I think, and your boy AT had brought this up, and I think his draft grade will be real similar next year, too. So why not come back in college basketball where it's easier on your body? You're going to be the A player, whatever team you go to. You're going to get all the reps and make $2 million. Like, it just, to me, it's like, where's the advice at? Come back easier on your body, go through keep doing your thing, because your draft grade is going to be about the same. I don't think all of a sudden his draft grade is going to go to where he's like the 12th pick in the draft next year.
Yeah, there's certainly more incentive to stay in college now. Just the idea that you can.
I'd be trying to stay in college for 12 years. There
are players who are trying to do that.
That's what I mean. It's the easiest. It's so much easier on your body. It's not you're still a student athlete. It's like, what? And now you don't have to pay taxes on certain money. Like, who are these guys getting this advice from? To me, it's a no-brainer that dude should be back in college basketball next year.
I used to feel like it was really a rush to get out of college basketball as soon as you could to start that pro career. And now it does feel quite a bit different. So when looking through how the roster is constructed, I think right now you're at 10 players with Carter Knox coming back. You pretty much had 7 to 8 last year, and the team's able to get to the Sweet 16. So, is 11 a little bit too much? I guess I'm asking, where's the sweet spot for trying to dole out the minutes for a team that, even without Adu, is incredibly talented? I mean, once Knox returns to the roster, and I think he's the most talented player on the team, I mean, you're looking right now already at I think top 10 easily, potentially top 5 overall in the country, and I think maybe pick near the top of the SEC, which is going to be the dominant conference in college basketball once again. So, I mean, I always hear it's a good problem to have, but then I don't know if it is always a good problem to have for the team necessarily. For Adu, I mean, the choice would be, you want to go make some money in college basketball, or essentially, do you want to go play in the G League as a second-round pick, which is probably what it looks like for him for the next year. And then, there's a few other players that have this decision to make too, but there were some other guys that pulled their names out of the draft recently. Alex Condon's going back to Florida.
He's a nice piece, right? That's somebody you want. I like his game. Yeah,
national champions are getting their big guy back again. I guess A&M's getting a couple guys coming out of the draft too. Michigan is, so obviously it's not just Arkansas.
Anybody from
getting these guys?
Anybody from A&M follow Coach Buzz to Maryland? I
didn't follow that. Yeah,
I wonder if any of his kids. You got to think one or two of them did.
I just kind of wonder if that's how things go now. You do have Cal's guys follow him from Kentucky to Arkansas in many cases.
The Indiana's coach, he made a living off his guys for what was that, ECU or Coastal Carolina?
Oh, James Madison. That's right. Madison, yeah. Yeah, I think it was 11 players followed him to Indiana. So anyway, that's top of mind, I think. And then there's the SEC meetings, of course, with the NCAA regionals in the foreground coming up shortly, and there's lots to get to, but the teams haven't arrived yet. Tomorrow's the workout day, and I guess that means they get in town later this evening or this afternoon, kind of get situated in the hotels. Tomorrow's workout day at Boehm Walker with the requisite press conferences and get to hear from all 4 of the head coaches in the Fayetteville Regional, and then it's game day on Friday. And by the way, we're going to be at the Stadium Shop for pregame on Friday, and the morning rush will be there. From 9 until 11. Halftime will be there as well up until the start of the Learfield pregame show, which is 1:30, because, as always, Arkansas chooses the early game in the regional. So I'm actually getting out of the show after an hour because there's stuff to do about 90 minutes before the broadcast. But Matt will be there. I'll be there the first hour. Ty will be on hand, too. And, of course, they still have the buy one, get one half price off. Buy one regularly priced, get one half off at the stadium shop, which includes hats and all of the other merchandise that you'll find on display there. So that's Friday. Tomorrow's the usual Thursday on the show, with the exception of teams working out at Boehm Walker. So the SEC meetings yesterday, and then there's the talks to the media. I mean, this kind of feels a little bit like SEC media days. It's just that you don't have the players with you. You don't have your 3 players with you from football for the meetings in July. Now it's the athletic directors, the football coaches, and I guess the basketball coaches are on hand as well. And they still haven't figured out what the schedule is going to look like for 2026. And it seems that it all hangs, Matt, on whether or not the college football playoff, one, how far it expands, and how the access to the playoff is decided. There's I'm reading on ESPN.com, a very interesting disconnect on the opinions between the athletic directors and the football coaches. The athletic directors want a 9-game schedule, but that would be contingent on the college football playoff expanding to 16 teams, and you get 4 automatic qualifiers from the SEC. And, of course, the SEC athletic directors aren't going to speak for the Big Ten, but if the SEC is getting 4, then the Big Ten is going to get 4, and then you figure it out from there. I think it's ACC 2, Big 12 2, and then 1 group of 5, and then a bunch of at-large bids from there. The coaches want it different. I don't really know many coaches that want the 9-game SEC schedule. The coaches want the 8-game schedule with a college football playoff that includes the 5 league champions and 11 at-large bids. So there is this disconnect here between those who hire the coaches and the coaches. I guess the hiring goes with the firing when it comes to the athletics directors. And they've got to figure this out. But they have to figure it out sometime soon because, one, there's a deadline to figure out what the playoff looks like December the 1st, and you're not going to figure out whether or not you're playing 8 or 9 games and what the SEC schedule looks like until the playoff format is figured out. And since the SEC is one of the 2 large oars that is kind of pushing the college football playoff canoe down the stream, the other being the Big Ten, you got to wait and see what the Big Ten's talking about whenever their media days are coming up, whenever their conference meetings are coming up soon. So Matt, why do you think there is this disconnect here between athletic directors who want essentially 4 automatic qualifiers to make it to the playoff, and then they'd expand to 9 games, but the coaches don't want that? They want it more like it is, just expanding the playoff to 16, 5 automatic qualifiers being the conference champions, 11 at-large bids, and keep it at 8 games. Because I think 9 games to me sounds really good. If you're going to be the 800-pound gorilla in college sports, which SEC football is, well, then I think you should play the same amount of conference games as the other 800-pound gorilla, which is the Big Ten.
I don't think they want that extra loss. I don't think it helps the SEC. It helps the SEC, behooves them to schedule out of conference guys that you can get 4 victories on. And then it's tough enough to have to play another SEC team. I don't think they think that helps them. So I think if you keep it at 8, I think the SEC always feels like they got a chance.
So I think that's what the coaches are looking at. The coaches are looking at a potential another L on their record, which also can help decimate a season.
You put 4 L's next to your record, voters aren't going to vote for you. It just helps when you're 10-2 and instead of having that extra L.
But it's the athletics directors who look at it from a different vantage point, and I don't think they're looking at it from their coach's personal record. I think they're looking a little bit more in the money scheme of things here, because if you add another game to the SEC schedule, you're adding a potential secondary rival. Think of, we don't know what the 26 schedule looks like, but there's a chance that LSU is not on that schedule, and you get South Carolina instead. Maybe a more winnable game, although South Carolina is looking pretty good right now under Shane Beamer. But Arkansas LSU is a rivalry. I mean, it's a thing. I mean, all our listeners care about the outcome of that game. So it'd be the same thing with Alabama, Tennessee. I mean, that can go back to being an every year thing. A&M in Texas, an every year thing, Georgia, Auburn, big rivalries that not only mean something, but they make money because they're sellouts, and you're not getting that kind of sellout for the FCS program. So I think that's got to be a top-of-mind reason for why ADs look at this differently from coaches. But I wonder what your thoughts are as well, and we'll open the Lewis Automotive Hotline after we talk to Grant Hall, which will be in just a moment. But first, I got to remind you about that you can still apply for your homestead tax credit. You have until the end of the month, so just a few days left to save $500 on your property taxes just by applying at your local county assessor. In Sebastian County, you call Zach Johnson at 479-784-1516. And you can also go online to sebastiancountyar.gov. Make sure this application is completed by the end of the month. This applies to your home up to 1 acre of land. So if you own your home and it's your primary residence, you'll qualify for the homestead tax credit and save $500 on your property taxes. All right, Grant Hall coming up on halftime right after this.
I think it's your girlfriend called.
Text the Lewis Automotive Group hotline, 877-377.
Thanks for watching us here on ESPN Arkansas. Download the brand new Hit That Line Now app in the Apple and Google Play stores. ESPN Arkansas, more than just radio stations.
Tommy Kraft here. When it came time for new gates and some fence repairs at my home, the Fence Man was my first call. The Fence Man does it all, from large commercial jobs to small residential repairs. Wood privacy fence, vinyl fence, commercial or residential chain link, even custom wrought iron fencing. 479-782-3936. 18 months, same as cash financing with approved credit is now available. If it involves fencing, the Fence Man does it. The Fence Man. He ain't afraid of no work. 479-782-3936.
Sandy White perch. Big old slab. C'est bon, sacalé.
One beautiful crappie.
It's a paper mouse.
Some serious crappie.
Nice speck.
We got crappie.
They might go by different names, but all prefer the same thing. Bobby Garland, America's favorite. White perch, slab, sockeye, papermouth, crappie, speck, crappie baits.
I call it dinner.
Don't take less when you can have it all with Taco Bell's $5, $7, and $9 Lux Cravings boxes. There's the $5 Classic box full of craveable faves. The $7 Supreme box for your swankier side. And the $9 Cantina Lux box has a whole world of tasty indulgences, including the slow-roasted Cantina Chicken Burrito. Get Lux for less with the $5, $7, and $9 Lux Cravings boxes at Taco Bell.
Lewis Automotive has been serving Northwest Arkansas for over 75 years and just getting started.
Our knowledgeable sales team is here to find you the perfect vehicle to fit not only your lifestyle, but also your budget.
Our factory-trained service technicians keep your vehicle running at optimal level.
And if you're looking for genuine parts and accessories, our team has exactly what you need.
Relax in our comfortable lounge, and when your car's ready, we'll return it to you spotless.
Thank you for being a part of our story.
Come see us at Lewis Automotive Group, where you're more than a customer, you're family.
Take that all day.
I need to sit though.
That's right.
Finally make a putt. Let's go tap in force.
Golf is back. Shop polos, hoodies, and Q-zips at Rhoback.com.
Get 20% off on your first order with the code RUSH25.
BetOnline is the world's most trusted betting platform and your number one source for all your sports betting action. Baseball season is in full swing and we're into the NBA and NHL playoffs, and BetOnline has more ways to stay in on the action with the latest odds, news, and scores, even live in-game betting while the games are being played. With the largest selection of odds on everything from the MLB, NBA, NHL, and UFC, BetOnline remains the best online source for all your sports wagering information. In between games, head over to the BetOnline Casino with all the top Vegas-style games, including poker and live casino. Bet online. The game starts here.
With Robert Half's specialized recruiters experience, combined with our award-winning AI, you can quickly find the skilled candidates you want. At Robert Half, we know talent. Discover how we can help at roberthalf.com/talent.
Need a new fence but not ready to pay all at once? The Fence Man, serving Fort Smith for over 40 years, offers 18-month financing so you can secure your home or office now and pay over time. Free quotes, custom designs, and the expertise to accomplish what most can't. Call 479-782-3936 or visit thefencemanAR.com. The Fence Man, he ain't afraid of no work.
The Hit That Line Now app is ready for you to download from the Apple and Google Play stores. Sponsored by Taco Bell. Live Moss.
You've been walking around every which damn way. They want more. What is this that I got? Make you feel alright. Should make you feel okay.
Make sure to follow Halftime on Twitter at Hit That Line AR and on Facebook and Instagram at Hit That Line. Call or text 877-377-6963. All guests join us on the Lewis Automotive Hotline, serving Northwest Arkansas for over 79 years. Home of the Lewis Guarantee. Now back to Halftime with Phil Elson and Matt Jones.
Here's an interesting bit of information. Just came out from the Razorback Communications Department on Twitter that the Arkansas-North Dakota State game will be the first time these teams play since they played a doubleheader on March 17th, 1982, in which the starting second baseman for the Razorbacks was Dave Van Horn. I love when things come together like that. We've got Grant Hall with us here on the Lewis Automotive Hotline. Grant, maybe you covered that. Arkansas-North Dakota State, 1982. Remember much about that, if anything?
I'm sure I would have covered it, but I don't remember a thing about it.
I don't think I would either. Yep, I don't think I would either. Thoughts on this regional field? I actually think it's a favorable draw for the Razorbacks.
Well, do you really? Because some are complaining that you got two 40-win teams in there, and that you're, the team you would play in the super regional might be Tennessee, and that's kind of unfair to Arkansas. I mean, my thought is that
Here's the only thing, though, Grant. Creighton's got 41 wins against the strength of schedule ranked 181. Kansas has 43 wins against strength of schedule number 86. So this is part of the argument that we're having on college football, just have fewer games. 43 wins for a Kansas team in the Big 12 with SOS number 86 is not equal to 43 wins for an Arkansas team where 20 of them came in the SEC. I hope I didn't upset Grant by giving him that little bit of information because the phone call stopped. You might try to call him back if you can, Christian. That's the thing. We have to the wins are wins. Wins are what you're playing the game for. But everybody's schedule is not equal, and there's nobody in this regional that's anywhere close. Arkansas' strength of schedule ranking was 13. The 13th most difficult schedule in the nation. They won 43 games against that. So you're supposed to be nervous about two fewer wins for another team that you may not even play. That strength of schedule was about 160 easier than yours. And it's the same with Kansas. There's a pretty big difference between 86 and 13 in terms of strength of schedule. So do we have Grant back? I think we got Grant back.
Efforting.
Yeah. He's efforting. That's a good word there. The only thing I'm saying here is that a baseball team at the very end of the game has decided on a win or a loss, but that has sometimes nothing to do with who you're comparing, who they've played. And Grant, Arkansas has just played much better teams than any of these other teams in this tournament.
Yeah, I didn't hear all of that, but Sorry, but I am back now. I don't know what happened. I went away.
Well, all I was saying is that the strength of schedule for those two teams that have won over 40 is nowhere near the strength of schedule for Arkansas. So, I mean, that's kind of the argument that college football fans are having. I mean, we already had that argument for the playoff when they were selecting Indiana over Alabama. But man, I mean, I just don't think it's the same conversation from Big Ten when we're talking about Big East baseball or Big 12 baseball.
I think the thing to look at, though, like Kansas swept 8 opponents I saw in the conference this year, and Creighton's had a good year. If you look at the top 2 pitchers, let's say, for those teams, it looks like, for example, Creighton's pretty formidable. I mean, don't they have a pitcher of the year and then a freshman of the year? And if you can win those first 2 games, obviously, that'd take you a long way, maybe. So I think Dave probably always looks at the pitching matchups really hard and trying to decide how to do these. Well, I guess you call it, just the regional.
Yeah. Well, what do you think they do on Friday? Because in my estimation, I mean, you're facing one of the more lower scoring teams in the NCAA tournament in North Dakota State, just over 4 runs a game. You don't need your ace for that game. I'm not even sure you need to have somebody that's a designated starting pitcher Friday. How do you view it?
Well, I saw that Matt Burns speculated that would Arkansas pitch Root for 3 innings and then have him available to come back if there's a game Monday. I don't think they would do it that way. I think, yeah, maybe you're right. Maybe in terms of you would go with, maybe Beitelshees or maybe Gackle would start that game. And then, do you think that, or do you think they'd go with Gage?
You mean on Friday? I wouldn't be surprised if it's Beitelshees.
Yeah.
To be honest, I wouldn't be surprised if it's Tate McGuire, because I think this is an opponent that's at the level of your midweek opponents in some cases. Tate McGuire started against those teams on a Tuesday or a Wednesday, and the Hogs have just crushed whomever it is that's on the mound in that ball game. And look, you're not going to pitch Root twice this weekend unless you got to throw him on Monday for some reason, because he hasn't thrown twice in a weekend this year. Here's the fact, though. Here's how you win. Here's how you win Friday.
You
beat the heck out of the ball. That's how you win this regional.
Yeah, I mean, if you had to pitch Root on Monday, then what are you going to do the next weekend on short rest? So I wouldn't think that. Dave did say Jimenez. It kind of indicated that Jimenez wouldn't start. There's another guy. He's probably sitting there listening to this chuckling like we haven't even hit the right guy yet, But I'm sure they got a plan in mind. And to me, it's more about Arkansas just playing Arkansas's game. And they've got a really good hitting attack. And, I mean, they've got, somebody said the other night, they might have the most balanced team in this entire tournament. People think that this is not a year when there's one dominant team. And by the way, I'm still trying to figure out how Vanderbilt is the number 1 seed and Auburn is the 4. Have you guys figured that out yet?
Well, they have the number 1 RPI and they won the SEC tournament. I think that's why.
Okay, well that's 3 games. I mean, so we're just going to take the last 3 games of the whatever number. Okay, RPI. All right. Well, I guess you got to go with that then.
Well, I mean, the RPI is there for a reason. It's not just made out of thin air. There's a reason for why Vanderbilt's RPI would be number 1, and I think the way that they finished the season would be that reason. Make a case for Auburn.
I mean, I used to think wins and losses. I mean, Auburn's 38-18. That's a lot of losses for the number 4 seed, right?
Yeah, that's why I don't. Well, I mean, part of it is also whoever it is that they've played. And from what I look at on Auburn's schedule, and this goes right to the heart of the strength of schedule from the potential opponents that the Razorbacks have played, because I'm looking here, and every single team that Auburn played this year outside of South Carolina in the SEC is a tournament team. Every single team. Arkansas played 2 that is not. And Auburn won. They won a ton of these series too. Now they got swept as well. Now I think that also speaks to just what the league was this year, right? You got Texas that wins the SEC by 2 games, but they're the number 2 seed, and they end up They end up behind a team in Vanderbilt that finished behind them in the standings. So I think that just speaks to what you're saying of there is no clear-cut number one team. I think that that's what everybody was playing for in the SEC tournament, which was the number one overall seed in the national tournament.
Well, I'm really
would have won
rooting
that
for
tournament.
an
They'd have been the same
Arkansas-Tennessee.
thing.
Yeah, I'm rooting for an Arkansas-Tennessee matchup just because of the fun of having Vitello back here again. And I missed, I was at Charlotte for the PGA and I saw, a lot of the series on television and so forth. But, the fact that they have these post-game press conferences and they come in and you get to talk to everybody more than you typically do in another series. I just think that could be a lot of fun, but I don't know that they look at it that way.
Well, I think the team would be perfectly happy with that kind of a matchup, just because it's a team.
Yeah,
that played
because
recently.
when you look at it, Tennessee doesn't have great pitching depth. I mean, they got to look and they played pretty well in the conference tournament, but you beat them 2 out of 3, and you would think you could do it again.
Yeah, there's a better team than the last 2 years, Grant. I mean, they have the same SEC record, nearly the same seed as each of the last 2 years. But watching them, to me, I think it's a much better team, which to me also speaks a little bit to the level of effort and the coaching from the previous 2 years in the regular season. But I think that this team is head and shoulders better than the last 2 years.
Yeah, I think it's better defensively and it has better pitching depth. Now, people can say, well, the starters didn't go long enough and so forth, but now you're to the point. And I also think that what can help Arkansas from here on is that the scouting is so good in the SEC, and teams, they with a fine-tooth comb, and they've played you, and they know your weaknesses if you have any, and now you're playing new teams. Now, except that Tennessee, if you run up against them again, then you sort of have the same thing. Who can do the best job with every little thing that comes up in a baseball game. But I think a lot of times Arkansas hits better, for example, than they have in tough SEC games.
Mm-hmm. Got any idea? Deadline to get out of the draft and still retain college eligibility is 11:59 today. You think Adu stays in? Because I think he will too.
I hope he does. I mean, I think that's probably the best option for him. These things get. I heard someone say yesterday that or maybe Clay said this. That agents get involved and they get these guys thinking that playing time is better here than there and so forth. Boogie Flan got all this money to go to Florida and everything, and maybe. But I just think it's really to his advantage to do that.
Hey, what about the matchup tonight? You think Oklahoma City close it out? We got a couple Arkansas kids on this Oklahoma City team.
Let's see, Matt. I mean, where's that game played tonight?
Oklahoma City.
Yes, I think they do. I have had kind of a rooting interest in Mike Conley. Mike Conley, I think, is 36 years old. Doesn't play too much anymore, but Arkansas, obviously, the two kids from Arkansas and Oklahoma City. It's been a strange. I mean, last night was the first time a home team won in the Indiana-New York series. So, I'd have to give Oklahoma City the nod. I think. Do you think they can win the whole thing?
I think it's going to be OKC versus Indiana. SGA. You get a two guard that can just the way he can manipulate the ball, the way you can't steal it from him, and then they got matchups everywhere. Jalen Williams, the other Jalen Williams, not our Jalen Williams, that dude has blossomed. All he's done is gotten better each year.
Yeah, and a lot. The Virginia playing Oklahoma State for the men's golf title today, and congratulations to Bree Ellis for winning Player of the Year. I know she was. The fact that she cried when Arkansas lost tells you that the team thing meant more to her than individual awards. I think she kind of said that when she received this award, but that was good. And then we got Maria Jose Marin playing at 8:30 tomorrow morning in the U.S. Women's Open that she wasn't even going to play in until she won the NCAA individual. and also Lopez and Fossey are playing in that. But it's funny, I've been watching the French Open today. Matt, just quickly, I don't know how much time you have, but do you like this Mac zone with the McEnroe brothers, kind of like what the Mannings do in football? Like, would you watch that instead of the regular thing? Do you watch the Mannings rather than the Monday Night Football telecast?
You know, some people, they've kind of, I guess that's a growing trend. You know, Pat McAfee, I think, did a couple of the college football games. Absolutely not. I turned it on the main broadcast, and that's 99% of the time I flip it on just whatever the regular main broadcast.
Here's the thing, though, is like we have an understanding, Grant, of what it usually feels like or sounds like to watch a football game or a baseball game or a basketball game. And I don't feel that way about tennis. So I don't know. To me, it would be okay to hear. I love McEnroe. I mean, he's hilarious, and as blunt as a ball peen hammer. So I think that I'd love to actually. I'm not a big tennis fan, but I think it would be entertaining.
Well, they had their brother on too. You know, the middle one, Mark, who is a lawyer, and it was hilarious. The interaction there. They had Odell Beckham Jr. on today, and they talked to Alcaraz after he won. And I mean, I really like it, but I guess, Matt, I haven't watched a whole lot of the Mannings, but sometimes it's pretty funny to hear their interaction too.
Well, we love when brothers punch each other in the arm and maybe in the face a little lightly. So that's kind of what that is sometimes. Grant, we'll leave it there. Looking forward to seeing you this weekend at the regional, and we'll do it again next week. Always appreciate your time. Thank you.
Yeah, can't wait. Should be a lot of fun.
You got it. Grant Hall with us every Wednesday, right about this time on Halftime.
Was that me standing out there saying, "Get off my lawn"? Was that the oldest man thing I've ever said, Phil, on the show so far?
No, not quite. I'm sure there was something else. There was something else. Maybe something about going to bed at 8:30 might have been the thing.
Oh, I don't even know who Johnny Carson is anymore.
I don't blame you, to be honest. Like, because to me, a baseball broadcast, a football broadcast, there's just a way that I'm used to it. So I think it has more to do with what it is that I'm used to. Mm-hmm. And with tennis, I'm not used to anything. So it'd kind of be entertaining. Let's break. In just a moment, we'll open up our Lewis Automotive hotline, 877-377-6963. Back in a moment.
Them and baseball players have the prettiest girlfriends. Baseball and golfers, they know how to get it done.
This is Halftime.
Bet Saracen is Arkansas's #1 mobile app for placing sports wagers.
In Arkansas, 7 out of every $10 placed on a sporting bet app is with Bet Saracen, because Bet Saracen offers more ways to win and more ways to get paid, and faster. Find your winners on Bet Saracen and look for my R prop bet specials. I pick them and you win them.
Bet Saracen is Arkansas's favorite sports wagering app.
Gambling problem? Call 800-522-4700.
Rock music invades the Creekside Amp in Harrison, Arkansas on Friday, July 25th with Saving Able. Tickets go on sale Friday, May 30th at CreeksideAmp.com. It started only $10. Saving Able with special guest Royal Lynn, along with Heavy Wrecker. Saving Able with Royal Lynn, live at the Creekside Amp in Harrison. Friday, July 25th. Get tickets at CreeksideAmp.com.
You're listening to Halftime Live from the Crabtree RV Center studios. Crabtree RV Center, where RVing is life.
Up to $10,000 off on select GMC Sierras at Harry Robinson Buick GMC. The GMC Sierra will conquer the road with confidence. Up to $10,000 off. Or lease the all-new 2025 GMC Hummer EV with hands-free driving assistance and go 0 to 60 in under 3 seconds for as low as $900 a month. Harry Robinson Buick GMC. We are professional grade. Harry Robinson Buick GMC. Exit 11 off of I-540 in Fort Smith.
Progressive knows if you have to choose between everyday life and your RV, RV wins.
What, are you going to take the RV to the mountains or go pick up your dry cleaning? RV wins. Are we cleaning the gutters or taking the RV camping? RV wins. Are we getting a new passport or cruising up the coast? RV wins.
Don't forget, you got that trip to Sweden coming up.
Oh, yeah. Passport, then RV.
With Progressive, you can bundle your RV with your home or auto and save with a discount and spend more time enjoying those savings in your RV. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company affiliates, other insurers. Not available in all states and situations.
Summer is finally here. Come check out Kofer's Boat Center's huge selection of boats with extra rebates for a limited time. Kofer's features low pontoons and fishing boats, Malibu and Axis wake surf boats, Caymas bass boats, and Kofer's has recently added the luxury line of Harris pontoons. Kofer's experienced professionals will answer all of your boating questions, and their award-winning customer service is second to none. Plus, they have the best boat storage option in town. Find them online at Kofers.com. That's COPHERS.com. Kofer's Boat Center, providing family fun since 1971. The Old Fort Days Rodeo begins Memorial Day, and Jelco Outdoors is ready to get you and the family ready for the largest sporting event of the year in the River Valley. Save up to $30 off on select Western boots by Ariat, Durango, Justin, or Watson, Tony Lama, and Twisted X. Buy 2 pair of Ariat or Wrangler jeans and get a 3rd pair free. Plus, receive an Old Fort Days ball cap free with purchase. Jelco Outdoors, the Old Fort Days official merchandise store. Get ready for the rodeo at Jelco Outdoors in Fort Smith.
Whether you're building a single roof or a successful roofing business, roofing contractors like you need the right tools for the job. Software is no exception. Service Titan is on a mission to be the most powerful software platform for the trades, with purpose-built technology proven to maximize revenue, streamline operations, and deliver 5-star customer experiences. We are taking roofing companies like yours to the next level and beyond. Service Titan. We are built for this. See what we can do for roofers at servicetitan.com.
Precision Garage Door features the finest quality materials, installation, and service for all your garage door needs, including garage door repair and new garage doors and openers. Fully licensed and insured with the largest showroom in Northwest Arkansas at 1907 Town West Drive in Rogers and in Fort Smith at 416 North 10th Street. Call Precision Garage Door today at 844-PDS-DOOR or check them out online at PrecisionDoorNWA.com. Financing is available. Precision Garage Door, voted best garage door company of Northwest Arkansas and the River Valley.
Your home for every Razorback football, basketball, and baseball game. ESPN 95.3.
She got attacked by a pack of dogs. She said it's okay. I got some wilderness skills beneath my belt. She said she used to be a part of a scout team. They nearly made her eat it one time. They didn't have enough thread, so the pattern. She said, you know how you heard about the family that burned down that house? Well, that was her. She said it was...
You're listening to Halftime with Phil Elson and Matt Jones. Want to jump in the conversation? Call or text 877-377-6963. All guests join us on the Lewis Automotive Hotline, serving Northwest Arkansas for over 79 years. Home of the Lewis Guarantee. Now, here's Phil Elson and Matt Jones.
Some of the quotes coming from the SEC meetings in Sandestin are very interesting. You got Scott Woodard, the LSU athletic director, quoting, this is from Brett McMurphy 3 hours ago, quote, I do have grave concerns about where this is going and what's going to happen even within our conference and even within the Power Four. Where and how does this thing evolutionize and what do we turn into, unquote. Wow. So, I mean, I think it's more about the instability outside the Power Four. The stability within the Power Four is created by television contracts. I don't know if this is sort of geared to the Tennessee athletic department because they've got that new law that basically allows their in-state institutions to disobey the new rules that will be included in this House settlement. I think it basically comes down to the collectives, that this new settlement will do away with collectives, and then there's this third party organization, which I think is Deloitte & Touche, that makes sure that collectives either aren't involved or that all the athletes that are actually getting NIL deals or doing something for those deals have over $600. But Tennessee now has a law that basically says that you don't have to follow that you can keep your collective. So this does make me wonder if you're looking about within our conference, and it's an athletic director at LSU, not the AD at Tennessee, that might be directed towards Tennessee. But then the other aspect of it too, how does this evolutionize? What do you turn into? Because you're at a place now where the basketball now inside the NCAA. All right, so let's say this is outside of the purviews of college football, which is basically run by the playoff, which is now being run by the Power Four, and the NCAA is being run by the Power Four. And to me, it doesn't feel like they really want or need the lesser business partners, those being group of 5 schools for football and almost anybody that's not within the purview of major college athletics, which is basically the SEC, the Big Ten, the Big 12, and the ACC. And if you go to 9 games, if you go to 9 SEC games, that's 1 fewer bye game potentially per year. So that's less money going to whatever group of 5 program you're paying to come into your stadium. You can see this coming. Matt, I think you've been advocating for it for a couple of years. Whatever it is you call it, the Super League, the North American College Sports League, or whatever.
Have like 3 pods of 20, somewhere around there, and then you can have a promotion and relegation where you're still. I mean, that's the way it's going. And I think what I'm tending to lean towards what you're talking about is football is going to be its own entity. You might be able to umbrella basketball, track, and softball, and whatever you want as far as in the NCAA student, but I think football is eventually it's going to break aside and be its own thing.
And isn't it already its own thing? It's just it ties everything together. But because the NCAA runs all the championships except for football, football already is its own thing. I mean, it is. If you're looking at how the commissioner of men's college basketball, there really isn't one, but Dan Gavitt runs the tournament, so he's the de facto general manager or commissioner of college basketball. Those are the most important decisions made when it comes to access to the tournament, and then the tournament itself is the biggest moneymaker for the organization. The football playoff has nothing to do with the NCAA. They have absolutely nothing to do with it. So I mean, they're giving up all of the enforcement ability. It's going right to the Power Four. The Power Four essentially runs the college football playoff. They'll be running all of the enforcement that the NCAA is giving up. So why do you have an NCAA for football at all? You got it for the other sports because they're supposedly really good at running championships. And the tournaments are kind of good. I like them. They work. But if the only reason why the NCAA exists is to have tournaments, to run championships, but then they don't have anything to do with the championship and the tournament in the biggest sport in college athletics, why does the thing even exist? Why do you have an NCAA? I think Greg Sankey even asked that question the other day, which was asked to him by one of his athletics directors. I think that is a legitimate question to ask moving forward. Let's go to the phones. We got Kevin from Rogers here on the Lewis Automotive Hotline. You can get with us, 877-377-6963. Good morning, Kevin. What's up?
Hey, guys. What's up? How was your weekend? Pretty good?
Yeah, I would like to stay in Hoover a little longer, but it was all right.
Yeah, well, but yeah, that first inning kind of hurt him. It was very similar to the softball team's first inning.
Yes, it was.
A lot of mistakes. Yeah, I was telling my wife, I said, man, I'm like watching deja vu here. I mean, just mistakes they don't typically make. Hey, the reason I'm calling a couple of things. First of all, regarding Tennessee, and I've seen some rumblings about this. As far as I'm concerned, and of course my opinion doesn't matter when it comes to this, I think the AD should just vote them out of the conference and let's move on. Their 2 best sports now are baseball and basketball. Yeah, football's off and on, but it's not like they're the power from the former years. I mean, they're just, once you're getting legislation involved in sports, I mean, we got enough problems with NIL and all that. I wouldn't even mess with them. I mean, you talk about some of the rivalry games. Well, Tennessee and Florida could play in a non-conference and still schedule that. So that's just my opinion on that. I'll get your take. Regarding the regional, and Phil and Matt, I really want to get into this. We've got a Big 12 team in our region for the 3rd year in a row. We both know what happened the last 2 years. don't overlook Kansas. I get what you're saying. I was listening earlier. Grant came on, so I wasn't able to call then. But if you look at TCU and Kansas State's RPI and record from the last 2 years, it was almost similar. I mean, so...
And Kansas is coming in hot. I mean, I think they won their last 7 or 8 regular season games before going 1-1 in the Big 12 tournament. One thing to look at is their top hitter is Brady Bollinger, is their first baseman, and he was out for the last game that they played in the tournament with a hamstring. But the Coach Fitzgerald said all the right things about the hamstring moving forward, so I guess he's going to play. But he wasn't available for their last game in Arlington. But you're right. I mean, it is a team that hits with power. They've got a couple of legitimate starting pitchers. They've put together 7 shutouts. This is a legitimate Kansas team. I'm not sure if they're better than TCU from 2 years ago. That team they laid waste to everybody they played, even in Omaha for a game or two. But I do think I don't think Kansas is quite, I think they might be better than Kansas State last year, but this is also, don't you think, Kevin, is this a better Razorback team than the last 2 years?
Well, and that's what I want to talk about, and I don't want to be overly critical, but let's really look at our last, 4 or 5 series. We're playing about 5. Yeah, we beat Texas. We swept them. We took 2 out of 3 from Tennessee, but we lost some series in there and mixed in too. I don't think we're playing, and then we lost, got knocked out in the first game. That tournament doesn't really mean much to me, I think. I mean, I'm kind of like Van Horn on that. I mean, we've won it and then got knocked out in a regional, a few years ago when we were ranked number 1. My concern is I don't know if we're playing as well as we were through the first half of conference season. And we can't say the schedule was tougher because the SEC is always tough. We went to Vanderbilt and swept them, and somehow they gave them a number 1 seed overall. And I don't think they're the number 1 seeded overall team. I think LSU's a better team than them. But that's my opinion. I just want to get your take on how they played the last half of the year. A little rest, we'll see. It seems like when we get guys that are beat, it's kind of like what happened with, Bree. You get these awards and stuff. Same thing with Aloy and them, and they seem to struggle. I mean, Bree only had like 2 hits the whole NCAA tournament. I mean, let's be honest. I mean, she struggled. I mean, of course, she didn't get great pitches, but still,
Would you like to see those awards come out after everything's over? Because it's kind of what you're talking about is the Heisman curse, too. You have the guy win the Heisman, then he gets to his bowl game, and it's like he looks like a shell of himself.
Well, just look back at 2006 when the Gators won their first national title in football. Troy Smith won the Heisman. How'd that work out?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
At Ohio State, and you can keep going. Sam Bradford in 2008, same deal. You're probably right. Maybe they...
Hey, Kevin, we're right up against a break, so we'll have to leave it there. I appreciate your call. It's a really good call. I think you make some salient points, but I do think that the idea of the SEC kicking Tennessee out of the league is a pipe dream. Stay with us. Halftime back to wrap up hour number 1 in a moment.
Exclusive coverage at the Fayetteville Regional, presented by the Stadium Shop on Razorback, Our Best Bank, and Shelter Insurance agent Chris Dooley.
I mean, you couldn't ask for a better series than what we got right here.
Your home is your biggest asset. So when you decide to add a sunroom, a patio cover, a new driveway, or new windows, you need to call a company you can trust. Sawyers has been part of your community for over 30 years. They're insured, licensed, and have 100% financing for all of their products. Take all the worry out of your next project. Call Sawyers and let them handle it from permitting to completion. Sawyers, serving the River Valley and Northwest Arkansas with a full showroom located in Fort Smith or online at sawyers-sunrooms.com.
They say consistency is the key to success. They weren't wrong. So how about grabbing a beer that's consistently smooth, consistently refreshing, and consistently light? You might just find that the road to success can be pretty enjoyable. Michelob Ultra, the perfect balance of taste and refreshment, and only 2.6 carbs and 95 calories. It's only worth it if you enjoy it. Enjoy responsibly. Anheuser-Busch Michelob Ultra Light Beer, St. Louis, Missouri.
Keep your haymaking season rolling with big savings on New Holland hay tools at WT Equipment. Right now, choose 0% financing or cash back on select disc bind, disc mower conditioners, and roll belt rounders, and save thousands. You'll cut with more confidence, bale faster and tighter, and save for seasons to come. Ask about our industry-leading warranties, too. Hurry into WT Equipment for these ready-to-roll savings. Offer ends June 30th. Capital America LLC approval. Standard terms, conditions, and other restrictions apply.
Every great team has its core players, but when the season gets tough, adding the right free agent can make all the difference. The same goes for business. At Robert Half, we found that 67% of companies surveyed plan to increase their use of contract talent to handle workload peaks and backlogged projects. With Robert Half's specialized recruiters' experience, combined with our award-winning AI, you can quickly find the skilled candidates you want. At Robert Half, we know talent. Discover how we can help at roberthalf.com/talent.
It's Ty Richardson with owner and operator Cecil Gardner with Jazzco Graphics, now 17 years in the industry.
Favorite Hog memory growing up, Cecil?
When we beat OU in the Orange Bowl in 1978, I was living in Allen Grove Projects, and it was a shutout at halftime, and I ran out of the house. I ran from one end of the projects to the other end screaming, "Go Hogs." I'll never forget that. Jazzco Graphics Design, 2415 Midland. It's on the corner of Midland and Kelly. Jazzco Graphics, the one-stop shop.
Prescriptions require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate. Restrictions apply. See website for details and important safety information. Price varies based on product and subscription plan.
Hey guys, let's talk ED because millions of men experience it, but not everyone can access or afford treatments like Viagra. Well, Hims can help. Through Hims.com, you can get a full range of treatment options for ED, including daily or as-needed meds through a 100% online process. It all starts with an online intake form. Get started at hims.com/joy, and from there, a medical provider licensed in your state will determine if ED treatment is right for you. If prescribed, your medication is shipped to you for free. Find the ED treatment that fits your needs with options up to 95% less than the brand names. Millions of men experience ED, but Hims can help. To start your free online visit and save up to 95%, go to hims.com/joy. That's hims.com/joy for your free online visit. HIMS.com/JOY.
Taco Bell's all white meat crispy chicken nuggets are back, but that doesn't make us a chicken place. I mean, yes, everyone loved them, like a lot. That's why we brought them back, along with our signature dipping sauces. But the crispy golden breading is actually tortilla chips, which is very taco place. So we're still a taco place. You think of us as a taco place, right? Who are we? No, I mean, we're good. It's just nuggets. Just crispy chicken nuggets, only at Taco Bell, your taco place. It's also a chicken place. It's also a taco place. At participating Taco Bell stores for a limited time only while supplies last. Contact store for availability.
Call or text the Lewis Automotive Group hotline, 877-377-6963.
If they no slack, only two times that I will hunt again. Fucking crypto is bad for your health. I'm punching myself by the health butcher. It's a policy, policy. I'm sorry, so, but you got to believe it's a policy, policy. I'm sorry, so, but you're gonna have to.
Welcome back into halftime, live from the Crabtree RV Center studios. Crabtree RV Center, where RVing is life.
So we got Clay Henry coming up in about 2 minutes here to join us for the remainder of the show. We'll have the Lewis Automotive Hotline all throughout the remainder at 877-377-6963. So no more guests, just you and us for the remainder of it. And I'm going to figure out a way that I can show you that maybe all 8 slots this year can be covered up by SEC teams in the College World Series. I actually don't know that can happen this year, but I do think this is a world where 6 is not out of the realm of possibility. It really is. When you have 13 teams in the tournament, there is a legitimate chance. Not only do you have a chance for 6 SEC teams in, but I'm counting here a very good opportunity of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 super regional matchups that are all SEC teams against each other. Usually, we're used to a world where you get 4 teams into the field of 8 on a near annual basis. But adding Texas and Oklahoma, I do think that it's a place where this year you very well may end up with 6 of 8, which, man, that would be kind of crazy. That would be absolutely crazy. But since the SEC truly is that good in baseball, comparably to the rest of the league, the rest of the nation, it'd be a surprise just because that's a big number. But maybe it wouldn't be that big of a surprise. All right, Clay Henry joins us for the rest of the show. We're back right after this.
Your home is your biggest asset. So when you decide to add a sunroom, a patio cover, a new driveway, or new windows, you need to call a company you can trust. Sawyers has been part of your community for over 30 years. They're insured, licensed, and have 100% financing for all of their products. Take all the worry out of your next project. Call Sawyers and let them handle it from permitting to completion. Sawyers, serving the River Valley and Northwest Arkansas with a full showroom located in Fort Smith or online at sawyers-sunrooms.com.
Listen up, crappie anglers. When it comes to crappie fishing, there's only one Baby Shad. The original Baby Shad, crappie fishing's #1 selling bait. Featuring a sleek back, streamlined belly, and quivering tail, that bait just won't stop moving, no matter the temps, no matter the conditions. Built for dead sticking and action-based techniques also, the original Baby Shad gets right to the point, catching slabs and filling freezers. Bobby Garland Crappie Baits, the leader in crappie fishing innovation.
Every Thursday, take a trip down memory lane at Joe's Grill and Cantina. Joe's is bringing back the flavors you loved from Cuco's, the beloved restaurant that once called this place home. Join Joe's Grill and Cantina for Throwback Thursday and savor classic Cuco's dishes. It's the taste from the past with the vibrant atmosphere of Joe's. Don't miss out on the reunion every Thursday at Joe's Grill and Cantina. Come for the food, stay for the memories. 3400 South 74th Street, across from Harps.
Lanny went to college and racked up huge debt.
A little bit over $100,000.
For a degree he couldn't use? Now what?
I had a friend that went to my computer career.
They even helped him get hired immediately after graduation.
One of the things I love about IT is that you can work from anywhere you want.
You could become an IT pro in just months, including cybersecurity and the basics of AI with zero experience at mycomputercareer.edu.
It worked for me, and I know it can work for you.
This is one student's experience. Individual results vary.
Brothers Roofing and Restoration, a licensed and insured local roofing contractor in Arkansas. Since his playing days for the Hogs, Brother Alexander has been on rooftops, many years as an adjuster, and in the past decade as a roofing contractor. He knows how to help you through the insurance process while replacing your roof using only the industry's best materials. And being a lifelong Arkansan, he'll be here to stand behind his workmanship and warranty. Call 479-353-3877 to arrange a time for Brother and his team to inspect your roof.
ESPN Arkansas weather.
For today, partly sunny skies. Our high temperatures this afternoon in the mid to upper 70s. We'll see showers and a chance of some storms tonight. An overnight low will drop down upper 50s to low 60s. Showers with a few thunderstorms on Thursday, a high in the low 70s north, upper 70s south. I'm Sally Russell with your forecast on ESPN Arkansas.
The weather is brought to you by Cop CDL Academy. Call them today at 479-632-1050. Cop CDL Academy, expanding horizons.
KERX Paris Fort Smith. The Bud Light Countdown is on. Arkansas football begins in 94 days. Coming to you live from the Crabtree RV Center studios.
Broadcasting on ESPN Arkansas and streaming on hitthatline.com.
We got a good one tonight. You got a team in here that would respect it. Oh, ask me if I'm all right. Why can't they dominate? And we not doing it.
We're going to go get one and celebrate on somebody else's field.
Yeah.
People said you had very motivational words at halftime.
It's halftime with Bill Olsen and Matt Jones.
From the bottom of my toes to the top of my head. What's my heart, dog? Let's go, man.
The angles were so bad we showed them at halftime.
But they were one racerback.
Like, what in the world were we thinking?
It's vintage Matt Jones.
Call or text 877-377-6963. Now, here's Phil Olsen and Matt Jones.
And back on halftime at 12:01. Great to be with you here on this Wednesday. Phil Elson along with Matt Jones. Christian Johnston is in our studios producing and welcoming on Clay Henry in just a moment. You can see here in the regional notebook that Matt Jones put together on Whole Hog that I'd seen where 3 D1 baseball guys had chosen Arkansas as their national championship favorite, but I didn't know who it was. It was Joe Healy, Eric Sorensen, Burke Granger. And, hey, for Sorensen to pick somebody that's not from the West, I think says something. Healy's an SEC guy. He does their SEC-related podcast and the SEC heavy coverage, so he's seen everybody in the SEC probably 4 or 5 times in person. So there it is for you. You get, I think they also chose North Carolina as with 3 championship predictions. LSU, Tennessee got 1 vote each. Interesting, too, there, because I think Arkansas should be looked at as a potential favorite for a national championship. Of course, you got to get out of the regional first and take it from there. But they are the favorite on Bet Saracen, and that's no surprise because you got Arkansas bettors doing that. And also looking here in his, draft talk about Gage Wood. Gage Wood is absolutely a huge draft prospect for this upcoming July draft. Yes, he was ranked number 94 by Baseball America earlier this week. I think he should be ranked higher than that. It's just that the stuff hasn't matched his production yet, and I think more than anything it has to do with him missing 7 weeks with a shoulder impingement. But if we're just going in terms of stuff, there's nobody on the team that's got better stuff than Gage Wood. Velocity, curveball, might need to add he's got a changeup. I just don't really see it all that much at the moment. Anyway, let's bring on Clay Henry, who was with us yesterday as the features editor. You can read him at Whole Hog Sports. Great columnist, Hall of Fame sports writer. Clay, you think so? If Gage Wood is what do they got him here? Is the 94th top prospect? I guess that means looked as a 3rd round pick. This is a chance maybe for Gage Wood in this postseason to elevate his draft stock, which is interesting because Dave was the other day pointing out how some guys at this point of the year are already moving on emotionally and mentally to the draft and their upcoming professional career. But I also think that does away with the idea of if you've been injured and there really hasn't been many data points for scouts to collect on you for this season, now's your chance to continue rising up the draft boards, and I think Gage Wood's at the top of that list.
Yeah, the pro scouts, I shouldn't say the scouts, the drafting mechanisms, either the general manager or the vice president's head of scouting, they kind of are hesitant to go high with right-hand pitchers. I don't know why. Maybe it's because there's a lot of them. But he's got a chance to show his stuff, basically. I mean, we know what it is. I think he's had a really good bullpen this week, but postseason is kind of a strange animal because you're seeing umpires that you haven't seen by and large. Now, when you get to Omaha, they're going to be the top guys that you've seen in the SEC. The SEC has great umpires, but they'll send umpires here that you haven't seen. And traditionally in postseason, especially early, it's a really tight strike zone. I can remember Jess Todd having an SEC tournament. I think it was against South Carolina where he struck out did he strike out 16 or was it 17? Anyway, he lit it up there. And in the strike zone that he had against Oklahoma State was the size of a pie plate. And I mean, he was out of the game pretty quick because he was walking, but they don't give you the black, I guess is what I should say, early in regionals. That's been my experience. So we'll see how that, and Gage is a strike thrower, but you want to get the black. Mm-hmm. I think this is, I don't know whether he's going to pitch Friday or they're going to throw somebody else and save him. We haven't heard that yet, right? And we probably won't until tomorrow because Dave's not going to tell us until he has to. That's generally the way that works. But he's got a chance to make a lot of money this weekend, in my opinion.
Gage, not Dave, right? Although I'm sure there's some.
Dave's already making it.
He's making the money. That's right.
I'm sorry, I didn't use too many pronouns.
No, but you're right about that too. And I don't know when Gage will pitch either, but I don't think it'll be Friday. And I don't think Zach Root will pitch Friday, because I think Friday is much more about the idea that you should be able to tear the cover off the ball against whomever it is that North Dakota State throws. And even if they've got a starter who can get through the lineup once, they're not going to have too many relievers that can mix and match in a way and have the velocity or change speeds well enough to make it through this Razorback lineup. Like, this really is a game where I think you can go out and score 13, 14, 15 runs and not really worry too much about who it is that you're throwing.
Yeah, I opened up their schedule, just their results, scores. And if you go back to the middle of the season, they had a series with LSU and they had a series with Alabama, and they put up a lot of runs against these guys. And I think that's probably what Arkansas is going to do. And those North Dakota State pitchers got to throw in that pipe late too. They're going to walk some batters.
I think they will walk some batters. And I think there's going to be some men on base. There's going to be some balls that end up over the fence hit by the guys wearing white. 877-377-6963 is our Lewis Automotive hotline for calls and texts. We've got Charlie the Tuna with us here, and good afternoon, Charlie. How are you?
This is your time slot, Charlie.
That's right. We put him right on. It's usually 12:07 when we take the phone, when we actually go on with the call. Sometimes the call arrives 10 minutes early, but we put him on right at the right time, Charlie. So you have the floor.
I mean, and Clay's here, so it's just a bunch of greatness. I was going to say that, I think at this point, Phil, you know how you guys kind of have a signature song for people sometimes? Like for Clay, I would pick like, Clay, I hope you're a George Strait fan. So I'll give you like Troubadour. You like that song? You know what I'm talking about?
You're not the first one that's picked that for me. I mean, because it's got the word.
I didn't know that.
Well, I mean, I think they played it for my lead-up song for quite some time.
Wow.
And then I think somebody just said, hey, that's enough of that. But it's got the word old in there pretty quick in the lyrics, so it fits.
No, but
I'm an
know
old
what the song's about. Yeah, but you're still rolling. You're still going. And that's the thing that I like about that song. Phil, I'm going to let you and Matt come up with, I was going to say C Unit, but me and C Unit's idea of a good song might be totally different from you and Matt, so ain't no telling what I'd get from you two. But anyways, Matt, did you see that performance from Halliburton last night?
Oh my goodness.
That was
G.
Yeah, I was going to ask you on that, like, what's the comp for you on him? To me, he's like a mixture almost of, it's like a Sean Livingston, Steve Nash mixture on him. He's kind of that throwback point guard, with the way the game is today. It's so positionless in a sense, but who's kind of a pro comp for you on him? Matt, who would you compare him to?
I could see your body type talking like that. He's a longer guard, kind of. I don't know that he's as skilled as a scorer as a Sean Livingston or like a Jamal Comfort. But his vision's his superpower. That's the thing with him. He's a set shooter. He likes to get everybody involved. I don't think he's as grimy as a Rajon Rondo, but he's not a score first point guard, and I love when my point guards are not score first. They want to get everybody involved. He's a true two-way guy.
His range is out there in the no-fly zone. I mean, he hit one. They backed off and gave him that shot. It's like, okay, you want to shoot a 30-footer, you go, and it didn't touch anything but net.
Yeah, I mean, and he's got a funky-looking kind of shot. He's only like a career 33% shooter from deep, but he has definitely improved from there for sure. But like Matt said, he's not really a true scorer. Matt, Phil, so you think they're going to do you think they'll throw bottle cheese Friday? Is that kind of where you're leaning? Don't even know if
Charlie, I do think that's who they're going to throw. I think it will be bottle cheese because it'll be somebody that started on a weekend, and I do think that'll be the answer. Now, I do wonder a little bit about if you don't start, if that means you push your guys back a day, so you start Root Friday, Wood Sunday as long as you get to Sunday, but then that means that they'll be on a day short rest going into a super regional. You got to get through the regional first, and I think that's how you figure out your pitching is how we get through this first, and then worry about the next round after that.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, they got a good, they're going to figure it out. A good thing is, I think some good things that came out of the other day was seeing Gaffel come out and play well. He played against Ole Miss, right? Thought he played extremely well coming out of the pen. He's looked a whole lot more comfortable doing that. I know it's been a little bit of a disappointing year for him, but we'll see how that goes. And, yeah, man, I think they should dominate this region. I really do, and I hope they do. So we'll see what happens. Y'all have a good one.
Thanks, Charlie. Yeah. I mean, look, Kansas is a legitimate team. This is a team. It's not like I'd say you got to worry about them and everything. But it is a legitimate team that has power. They don't steal bases. But one aspect of Kansas that they need in order to generate opportunities to score are walks. They're a high on-base percentage team, not necessarily a high batting average team. They only have 2 batters over 300, but they've got 4 guys that have an on-base percentage over 400. They are 3rd in the nation in walks. Kansas averages 6.3 walks per game. The Razorback pitching staff averages 3 walks per game, 4th best in the nation. This is a little bit of a irresistible force against an immovable object kind of a thing. But that's how Arkansas can beat Kansas, because whomever it is you're throwing, if it's Wood or if it's Root, neither of those guys are high walk guys. They throw a lot of strikes. They will challenge hitters. And I think Kansas, I don't know too much about the Big 12 in terms of pitching. I know Kansas led that league in home runs. Maybe some of those pitchers were scared out of the strike zone, but you're not facing a team that's scared out of the strike zone very much. One of Arkansas's strengths in pitching matches up absolutely perfectly with one of the main strengths of Kansas's lineup.
When I look at the Big 12, I think, okay, we've seen TCU in Kansas State, so we know that's a good league. Oklahoma State is certainly that. The thing that happened to the Big 12 this year is that they lost their 2 heavyweights. Texas and Oklahoma aren't in the Big 12. Kansas didn't play them. So when you look at their win total, you have to factor that in, that this is a different Big 12. But it will come down, just like it always does, to the team that makes the least mistakes. And the least mistakes is 3 things. 1, you play well in the field. 2, you don't walk batters. 3, you don't chase out of the zone offensively. Those are the 3 things that control. And I know some people, look at baseball and think, a team's really got to be hyped up, and that's not the way baseball works. Mm-hmm. You have to play within yourself and stay in your zone, your comfort zone. You can't, so that's sometimes what happens to a team, is that the pressure gets to them. And I think that Dave has done a good job this week of, from what I've heard from sources within the team, that they're loose and ready to go. And that's what you have to be in postseason. You can't play tight, because that leads to mistakes. And those 3 areas, defensively, walks, and chasing out of the zone.
I want to thank Shelter Insurance agent Chris Dooley and Arvest Bank for sponsoring our Fayetteville Regional live coverage. You can contact Shelter Insurance agent Chris Dooley for all your insurance needs. They proudly serve Fort Smith and the surrounding areas. And you can also call us or text us on the Lewis Automotive Hotline, 877-377-6963. We'll be back in just a moment.
Call or text the Lewis Automotive Group hotline, 877-377-6963. Thanks for watching us here on ESPN Arkansas. Download the brand new Hit That Line Now app in the Apple and Google Play stores. ESPN Arkansas, more than just radio stations.
Tommy Kraft here. When it came time for new gates and some fence repairs at my home, the Fence Man was my first call. The Fence Man does it all, from large commercial jobs to small residential repairs. Wood privacy fence, vinyl fence, commercial or residential chain link, even custom wrought iron fencing. 479-782-3936. 18 months, same as cash financing with approved credit, is now available. If it involves fencing, the Fence Man does it. The Fence Man. He ain't afraid of no work. 479-782-3936.
Sandy White Perch. big old slab. C'est bon, sacalé.
One beautiful crappie.
It's a paper mouth.
Some serious crappie.
Nice speck.
We got crappie.
They might go by different names, but all prefer the same thing. Bobby Garland, America's favorite white perch, slab, sockeye, papermouth, crappie, speck, crappie baits.
I call it dinner.
Don't take less when you can have it all with Taco Bell's $5, $7, and $9 Lux Cravings boxes. There's the $5 Classic box full of craveable faves. The $7 Supreme box for your swankier side. And the $9 Cantina Lux box has a whole world of tasty indulgences, including the slow-roasted Cantina Chicken Burrito. Get Lux for less with the $5, $7, and $9 Lux Cravings boxes at Taco Bell.
Lewis Automotive has been serving Northwest Arkansas for over 75 years and just getting started.
Our knowledgeable sales team is here to find you the perfect vehicle to fit not only your lifestyle, but also your budget.
Our factory-trained service technicians keep your vehicle running at optimal level.
And if you're looking for genuine parts and accessories, our team has exactly what you need.
Relax in our comfortable lounge, and when your car's ready, we'll return it to you spotless.
Thank you for being a part of our story.
Come see us at Lewis Automotive Group, where you're more than a customer, you're family.
Take that all day. I need to sit though. Finally make a putt. Let's go tap in parse.
Golf is back. Shop polos, hoodies, and Q-zips at Rhoback.com.
Get 20% off on your first order with the code RUSH25.
BetOnline is the world's most trusted betting platform and your number one source for all your sports betting action. Baseball season is in full swing and we're into the NBA and NHL playoffs, and BetOnline has more ways to stay in on the action with the latest odds, news, and scores, even live in-game betting while the games are being played. With the largest selection of odds on everything from the MLB, NBA, NHL, and UFC, BetOnline remains the best online source for all your sports wagering information. In between games, head over to the BetOnline Casino with all the top Vegas-style games, including poker and live casino. Bet online. The game starts here.
Friend, goats are the true hunters.
Goats?
Billy Goat Jr.'s Grammy was trained to chase squirrels, cats, birds, and rabbits. We could hear her for miles through the brush. And she'd circle them right to us.
You're not serious.
As serious as a meal for two for $15.
You're an interesting cat.
What'd you call me?
A meal for two for $15. Eat Jim's RazorbackPizza.com.
Smooth big cat, take your time, kill, roll away. Smooth big cat, it float downhill, smooth beyond way.
You're listening to Halftime with Phil Elson and Matt Jones. Want to jump in the conversation? Call or text 877-377-6963. All guests join us on the Lewis Automotive Hotline, serving Northwest Arkansas for over 79 years. Home of the Lewis Guarantee. Now, here's Phil Elson and Matt Jones.
Dutch texted on our Lewis Automotive Hotline. He's thankful that we were talking about the movie Rounders. What was that, 2 weeks ago? A signed out to see movie. And Dutch watched it and loved it. Said it was pretty good. He thinks Michael was too nice to Worm and should have booted him out of his life.
Can't believe you still have a friend that goes by the name Worm. I didn't even play. You know, I'll be really quick. You won't feel a thing.
It's difficult to give up on people that you grow up with, isn't it?
I hate that man, his money.
Well, I asked Dutch if he paid that man his money. He did not answer back. So I don't know if he did or not. 877-377-6963. Calls or texts on the Lewis Automotive Hotline. I'd watch rounders, but I'd never get involved in anything like that. I'm not a poker player. I do not have a poker face.
John Turturro in there a little bit, you know. He crushes.
I love Turturro.
He crushes his role right there.
I turned on The Big Lebowski 3 nights ago. And, I mean, he's barely even in the movie very much. But
17 minutes less than that? Or
much fewer than that.
We were talking about it one, yeah.
Much fewer than that,
7
but he
minutes,
owns
maybe.
the scene that he's in. That's right. I still have to finish it because you asked Matt if there's the oldest man thing you ever said on the show. What was that, 30 minutes ago?
Yeah, get off my lawn.
I have fallen asleep on the couch 2 nights in a row at 9:30 with the show on that I'm interested in. So that tells you where I am.
You're good. You must be living good right now, man.
must be.
Good right there.
Drinking my broth, yeah. Eating cottage cheese at night. Didn't have much going on last night.
Cottage cheese.
Yeah, I'm trying to get to a place where I don't cause myself indigestion or heartburn when I'm sleeping. So I'm going to try to mix this up a little bit. Eat the heavy meal in the morning and the light meal at night. Doesn't that make sense?
What's your heavy meal in the morning?
I'll make a steak and spaghetti and meatballs and a green
in
salad.
The morning?
Yeah, why not? I mean,
that's like 9 a.m.
Fuel your day properly.
He sent me a picture a couple days ago, and it was biscuit and gravy with sausage gravy, and then these slabs of bacon. Like the bacon will stick. It was like
thick
that.
Gravy.
Oh, it was wonderful.
We didn't have anything going on Sunday. I had my son. Unfortunately, I wasn't in Hoover. It's raining all day long. There's nothing else. We were going to go fishing if it was nice. There was nothing else to do. So, what is the absolute least healthy thing I could make for my soon-to-be, he just turned 13 the day before that, for my 13-year-old son? What would be the thing that would clog his arteries harder than anything else right now? And the kid loves McDonald's and he loves Chick-fil-A and all those things that'll clog your arteries, but there's nothing like sausage gravy made with half and half and whole milk. Come on. I mean, has anybody actually tried to make sausage gravy with fat-free milk or skim milk? And is that the same thing as putting ketchup on a steak?
Yeah, that's wrong. That's something Ty would do.
Well, he does the
ketchup on a steak.
The ketchup or the steak thing, yeah. But I love this, dude. My parents are coming in this weekend.
And he makes his steaks well done. Oh,
Claire,
gross.
I got into this yesterday before you came on the show. My parents are coming in for the Fayetteville Regional, and then they're going to come into Little Rock because my daughter's got her confirmation on Sunday. I can't be there, so they're going to represent me. So they're staying in the Graduate in Fayetteville, and they're staying in a completely opposite place in Little Rock. They're staying in my house, and I am not charging them rent either because they didn't charge me rent for 18 years. So that means I got to clean the place up, totally clean the place up. I have now been able to see every speck of dust, every chest hair that's fallen on the floor around this house, and I might have missed them over the last few months because my dad doesn't care what this place looks like, but Mom does. You do not leave a mess for Mom when she is staying at the house. But now I don't want to get here early because that means the Hogs got knocked out of the Fayetteville Regional. If my parents get back out of town before I make it to Little Rock, then that's great. Otherwise, if I'm here, I'll make sausage gravy and biscuits for them again. When I did that in Pittsburgh, in my parents' kitchen, my father was standing over my left shoulder. He thought I was Merlin the magician watching me make sausage gravy. He thought it was the coolest, weirdest thing he'd ever seen somebody make in his life. And I thought, this is the easiest thing I've ever made in my life.
Have you ever made roux? Proper roux. R-O-U-X.
I think I made roux, but I don't know if it was proper.
Well, if you can make sausage gravy, then you can make roux. That might be
what sausage gravy is. Is that just a gravy?
No, I mean, but it's the same principle. I mean, it's requires a lot of stirring. You have to tend to roux, and it takes a little while. And it also will kill a lot of time. So if you don't want to get in long conversations with your mom, you go in there and you make roux.
I see where you're going with this.
Yeah.
Definitely see where it is you're going with this. Well,
you have to tend to it.
I've lived in this house for nearly 3 years. It has never been cleaner, and there's still more to do. I still got to make sure that as soon as I get up tomorrow, launder the same sheets, launder the bedding and the comforter, and then put that back on the bed, and make sure the toilet seat is nice and clean, and also make sure the toilet seat is down, of course.
Down. Both down. Yeah. Do you have cats? Do they shed? I mean,
oh, yeah.
I mean, that's part of cleaning, right?
The
Making sure.
the Roomba, the only time that the Roomba's not working right now in the 24 hours of the day is between 11 and 2. That's it.
That's the automatic vacuum.
It is constantly going throughout this entire small house, unless we're on the show, because there's not going to be, this is not going to be the time where Mom sends me a text and it's got one of those little passive-aggressive things on it that says something about the cleanliness of the house. It's not going to happen this time. It is actually going to be the kind of place where you could eat off the floor.
Well, you've done your best. That's all you can do. I mean, it's the same thing with baseball. I mean, when the game's over, if you did your best job at cleaning, and now I'm going to give you one more task. This is important, and this is not something guys worry about. Throw out all the old stuff from the refrigerator. Look for an expiration date, because she's going to check that. It's like, this is dangerous, and she's going to hold it up and say, this needs to go. So give that a little once over.
I've got to make sure that I leave my parents the kind of refrigerator that I grew up with, which was empty. Matt, did you have friends where you always knew where to go if you wanted something good to eat? There was always a house that had the full refrigerator with all the fun snacks.
Usually they had the Nintendo as well.
And they had the Nintendo or the Sega Genesis or the Super Nintendo.
Fresh ice cream.
They had the cool movies. Might have had the Playboy magazines in a place where you knew where they were stacked.
Wait a minute.
Now, we were the house that had no food in the refrigerator. We didn't even have the video games. We had the Playboy magazine.
We always had a pot of beans on the stove. I mean, there was always something to eat right there.
There you go. See? Now, did you have the video games for everybody to come over and eat beans while they're playing video games?
I was late when it got into that. We were into outside activities. We weren't Pops wasn't just going to let us sit inside for 8 hours and play video games.
So you guys had to go outside and play
and
Pac-Man
come back
amongst
when
yourselves.
the street lights come on. Do they still do that these days? When the street lights come on, that's when you come back in.
My dad put a floodlight on a tree in the backyard so we could shoot baskets at the goal hanging on the garage. And we did that until the neighbors called. I mean, my mom would come out and it's like, time to come in. Well, we knew the neighbors had called. The bounce, 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 clang, clang. Yeah, because it wasn't switched. Matt would have been hitting all net.
Everything's so structured now. But everything's so structured now. I mean, you get kids that are going to camp for a full week and by the end of the night, they're exhausted and all of that. But I still remember what it felt like before the organized activities took over in the summer, and we had a whole street. All the kids on the street played Capture the Flag until well after the sun went down, man. I mean, Mom and Dad didn't even have to stand outside the front door and scream dinner time because it was right there in front of them.
Capture the Flag.
Oh, it was fun.
I don't know that game.
Capture the Flag. Oh, that's great. I mean, you get one half of the street, and then there's a boundary in the middle, and then on the end of each.
Now you hide it, right? You don't know who has it, or do you?
You can do it that way, or you can have.
Played it.
You can have. See, my street was a hill, so at the top you'd put a flag, and at the bottom you'd put a flag, and then it's basically.
I got you.
You tag somebody, they're out, they go into jail. I mean, these are games that take 7 hours. They're designed to never end, so that you never go back inside.
But you know the neighborhood very well after.
Well, I'm going to end up leaving a very empty refrigerator for my parents, and the kids here don't play outside. They don't play Capture the Flag on this street.
I asked Darren McFadden one time, what was the game that y'all played in your neighborhood? And he says, we had a ball. It might not be a football. It might be any kind of ball, and we played Killer Man.
Killer Man?
Killer Man.
What's that about?
Kill the man with the ball.
Okay. See,
and if you had the ball, you ran.
Sounds like sounds a little bit.
Once somebody had the ball, they ran. Yeah, but you can go in any directions. It's not you're not trying to score. You're just trying to keep.
It's
the
like
ball.
Ice-T in that movie where he's just trying to survive.
There you go.
Yeah,
Killer Man. And I looked at him and he goes, "Man, that's how I got good." Killer Man. I said, I assume, and this is like Matt Jones playing flag football at football camp, but Killer Man, I think, is a little bit about toughness, a little bit about speed. I mean, I never played Killer Man. Never did that.
It just feels like a different world, though. Maybe it's just the street I
think
grew
it
up
is.
on.
Oh, yeah.
The street I grew up on, you could end up in somebody's backyard, and they wouldn't care. You end up in somebody's backyard now, you might want to duck and have something on to protect yourself. 877-377-6963 is our Lewis Automotive hotline. Hey, if you're looking for a fence that stands out and stands strong, you might have the number for the Fence Man, but if you don't, write it down. 479-782-3936. The Fence Man has served the Fort Smith area for over 40 years, building custom, one-of-a-kind fences, residential, commercial, high-security fences, automatic gates, and they feature 18-month financing as well. At The Fence Man, 479-782-3936, thefencemanAR.com. The Fence Man, he ain't afraid of no work. Stay with us. Phone calls, texts coming up on the Lewis Automotive hotline right after this.
This is halftime.
Texting enrolls you into recurring automated text messages. Consent not required to purchase. Message and data rates may apply.
Hey, Dan, how you doing? Haven't seen you around the gym.
Yeah, I've really fallen off. Since I turned 40, I just don't get the results I used to get.
Could be lower testosterone. I went through it a while back. I got Nugenix Total T, and it's made a huge difference for me.
I've seen that ad on TV. Is it for real?
Oh, yeah. The key ingredient is something called Tesnor, which helps boost free and total testosterone levels to help you trim up and stay lean.
And it's made a difference for you?
Man, I feel like I'm in my 20s again. At work, in the gym, and in the bedroom.
Are they still giving out complimentary bottles for people to try it for themselves?
Yeah, you just need to send them a text. Text BREAK to 321-321 right now for your complimentary bottle of Nugenix Total T. Plus, text now and we'll include a bottle of Nugenix Thermo, our most powerful fat incinerator ever, to help you get back into shape fast, absolutely free. Text BREAK to 321-321. That's BREAK to 321-321.
Products and statements have not been evaluated by the FDA. These products are not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease or illness.
Mungo like candy.
This is halftime.
It's the all-you-can-eat breakfast buffet at Golden Corral. Come in and enjoy the endless breakfast buffet with carved ham, tender pork chops, pancakes, French toast, made-to-order eggs and omelets, and, of course, the biscuits and gravy. Friday, Saturday, and Sunday from 8 a.m. to 11 a.m. And from 8 to 9:30, seniors get all this plus a drink for only $8.99. Golden Corral, 1801 South Waldron, Fort Smith. Order online at goldencorral.com for curbside pickup or delivery. Golden Corral, the only one for everyone.
Budweiser, the American lager. A time-honored recipe, true to our original process, brewed using the choicest hops, rice, and best barley malt, delivering great quality beer since 1876. Budweiser. This Bud's for you. Enjoy responsibly. Copyright 2024 Anheuser-Busch Budweiser Lager Beer, St. Louis, Missouri.
Are you an angler having trouble finding all the bait, tackle, and more for your fishing needs? Make Awake Bait and Tackle, now located in Fort Smith next to Witts Marine on North 11th Street, is your place. Make Awake Bait and Tackle also has the largest selection of plastics in the River Valley. Reactor Innovation, Bobby Garland, Zoom, Mega Bass, and more. Check out the Daiwa Rod and Reels. Make Awake Bait and Tackle, 803 North 11th Street in Fort Smith, 479-926-9320. Also get your rod and reels repaired. Come see us next to Witts Marine at Make Awake Bait and Tackle.
Who can you trust to sell your home for the most money with the least amount of drama? You need a team of agents with decades of experience, commitment, and of course, tens of thousands in marketing. I'm talking about the Limbird team. Tara Limbird, Limbird Real Estate Group, has sold over $1 billion in real estate. Tara's team can give you a cash offer in 72 hours, or use Tara's high-octane marketing to sell your home quite possibly for thousands over asking. Find out more at LimbirdTeam.com. LIMBIRD.
Here's to you and yours from the friendly folks at In Good Spirits, your upscale liquor store in Fort Smith. At In Good Spirits, they've got what your taste buds are craving, including flavorful wines from around the world, scrumptious brandies and liqueurs, tempting whiskeys and beers, and fine cigars. Treat yourself to the best as you listen to the game. Check out In Good Spirits, 12100 Highway 71 South, across from Riley Farms in Fort Smith.
The Hit That Line Now app, fueled by Taco Bell. Online and on the air and now everywhere you go. Tune in to the greatest moments of Razorback sports with Chuck Barrett, Bo Mattingly, Tommy Kraft, Ty Richardson, Phil Elson, Matt Jones, and Ruskin and Zach with our Hit That Line Now app, fueled by Taco Bell. Stay connected no matter where you go with the Hit That Line Now app, fueled by Taco Bell. Download for free in the Apple app or Google Play stores. Just search Hit That Line Now. It's fueled by Taco Bell. Your home for every Razorback football, basketball, and baseball game. ESPN 95.3.
Self-medicated at all times. I'm here to take your favorite song to dance to. Just pine boxes doing the tango. The music makes me more like a spooky boy.
Find Halftime on 99.5 in Northwest Arkansas, 95.3 in Fort Smith and the River Valley, 96.3 in Hot Springs and Central Arkansas, 104.3 in Harrison and Mountain Home, and everywhere on hitthatline.com. Join the conversation. Call or text 877-377-6963. All guests join us on the Lewis Automotive Hotline, serving Northwest Arkansas for over 79 years. Home of the Lewis Guarantee. Now back to the hosts. Here's Phil Elson and Matt Jones.
We got the Hall of Famer Clay Henry with us as well. Guys, you don't have TikTok, so I'm not sure if you're aware of this. And I haven't opened TikTok in months, so I wasn't aware of it unless I saw somebody else talking about this. There is a trend right now of men calling other men to wish each other good night. All across the country on TikTok, they are doing this. And there's professional athletes are doing it. Older men are doing it. Younger men are doing it. Calling each other at night to wish each other good night. I'd never thought in a million years, Matt, that you'd do that with me.
If you call me after about 7:30, I don't. It does. I'm not answering anybody's
Heck,
phone
if
call.
I text you after 7:30,
like,
I get a photo of the television and what's
like,
on TV.
It's like this is what I'm doing right now.
That's
It's like
exactly right.
I'll talk to you during business hours tomorrow.
Clay, I've called my son. I've done that. He's a 13-year-old boy. That's different. So I'm not calling you late at night either. All right.
Well, I don't take the phone to the bedroom.
See, I turn mine on sleep. Yeah, it's like I don't have any kids.
I
don't
put it on
what do I-
charge in the
Yep.
kitchen, and that's if the phone, if I hear it beeping, I'll get up and go to it because it's probably one of my daughters, and I know that's important. If they're sending me a message, after 10 o'clock, and my wife leaves her phone in another room, I had to be kind of told to do that. And you can set your alarm and leave it in another room because you can hear that. It's and I use my phone for my alarm. Hey, I got another game that we played growing up.
What is it?
We played knee football. You could not leave your knees, and it's in a tight space, and the boundary markers were your shoes because you didn't need shoes. And you played in blue jeans. Usually it was shirts versus skins.
Better wear those gardening pads for your knees.
Well, no, the knee pads, the knees would eventually wear out, and my mom would just patch them again. You didn't have holy jeans back then. They were patched and then patched on top of patched.
You at least didn't pay $100 a hole on them.
No, that's right. I don't get it.
I don't understand it
either. I've seen my daughters wear jeans with holes all through them and ragged looking things, and then they tell me how much they paid to get them new like that.
Don't do them yourself.
The $100 a hole.
No, they come like that.
No, there's a very specific way they're supposed to look, and you don't know how to do it.
Tattered
Neither do
and
I.
teared. Is that the Rolling Stones song?
Yeah, maybe. But knee football was brutal. There was blood, and because you can't outrun anybody. You're gonna get whopped, but you don't really have much leverage. So it's not you're just knocking them down with your arms. You're down when you are down. And I was number 3 out of 4 boys, so there was always bigger kids, and it was viewed as a toughness thing. And when I played finally in junior high, I played tackle football. It didn't seem like that bad to me because I'd played knee football as a elementary school kid.
I like playing basement basketball with one of
Same
those
thing.
little hoops. We had a little Celtics hoop. The thing was broken after a day, but we taped it back up, and it was a low-lying basement ceiling, so it wasn't meant for high flying, and none of us were high flyers anyway because we were all sub 6 feet. But I thought basement basketball was a heck of a lot of fun. So was basement hockey. But I do have somebody that I don't know if he's got my phone number, if this might happen if he does call me at night, which, by the way, has happened before, though. I think it was a butt dial. We'll bring Eduardo the Sherpa on here, and I will make a request here, Eduardo. Would you like to call me sometime at night and wish me good night, Eduardo? Because there are grown men that are doing this. You and I text already, so why don't we take the relationship to another level?
I don't think I've ever done that, sir. If I did, it was by accident.
Well, there's a first time for everything. Yes, it was an accident when you did call. There were people. I think I brought this up before. You might not remember. I got a phone call from Eduardo the Sherpa at 11:30 at night once in a hotel room. I'm thinking, well, what the heck could this be about? I think I answered it too. It was a little interesting, but you didn't say good night.
There's trends for everything, you know. Well, I just wanted to call in, sir. You know what I mean? As I watched the post game to the softball home, I mean, as the season ended, I know that, you know, you could just see the emotion in their hearts, and you know, Coach Doffel, and it's really touching to me. You know, just wanted to reach out to him. You know, you lost a game, but it does not define you in life. I'll tell you one thing that you did do, and I said this morning, how true it is. You kept our program in the spotlight all year long. You completed at the highest level all year long, and you just come up a little short. I remember vividly when I was a kid, my mother was one of the biggest life lessons, teachers of my life. And I was learning to ride a bicycle, and I fell off, you know, and I was disappointed, you know, and I got back up. She said, son, it's something I followed all my life. And she said, you got to get back up on that bicycle and keep paddling. I fought for all the girls on this team. You represented our fan base, yourself, our university well, and you just come up a little short. I remember saying once, I said this morning on the Morning Rush, there are many disappointments in life, but never let it defeat you, because it never can defeat you. You know what? Who knows what next year holds? I'll tell you what you did do. You laid the foundation for you know, we're becoming one of the winningest, like our baseball, winningest softball programs in the country. And that's due to Coach Courtney Doffel. And what a gracious coach. You know, you can tell who wouldn't want to go play for her. I mean, you can tell, well, she wears her emotion on her shoulders. She loves her players. And what did she say? She told the players, I feel for my players. I cry for my players. I cry for, as you cheer, and maybe, you know, just in a few days from now, we all know one of the winningest programs in any sport is our baseball hawk. It's one of the most winning, consistent programs. How many teams did we get? 13 in this conference, in the toughest conference, and you wind up getting a number 3 national seed overall. I mean, how great is that? I'll tell you one thing. Maybe if we just embrace the players a little bit more, whether you win or lose, we're going to cheer for you. And we need to get the monkey. I think sometimes the players have a lot of pressure on them, you know, to win. Because they get used to winning on a high level. And when you get into, you know what, maybe sometimes, you know, it gets a little bit, the moment gets a little too much. Maybe if we just tell the players, whether you win or whether you lose, we're going to cheer for you. Thank you for taking my call, gentlemen.
Eduardo, that's a great phone call. I appreciate that, and I'm looking forward to your phone call later tonight. Thank you very much for listening to our show.
He's going to call you.
Oh, I'll bet you will. Well, I'll get a text, that's for sure.
Have a good night. Hey, I've called somebody in the middle of the night before, but it wasn't intentionally. It was not middle of the night for me. I've got a really good friend that travels the world in the oil and gas business, and I called him. I mean, it was like 4 o'clock for me, but it was 3 a.m. in Dubai. Yeah. I didn't even think about where he was. He had texted me earlier about something, and so I just thought, well, I'll just call him. He answered the phone. He says, everything all right? He says, I know you know that I'm in Dubai. So if you're calling me, it's something important. I said, no, I forgot you were in Dubai. I'm sorry. But I get all kinds of weird texts from him saying that he's at the airport and he's headed home, you know, like excited that he's finished with his work a little early. And I'll look at the time and it's like, well, what time is it there? And he goes, well, it's 5 a.m. I'm headed to the airport for a 7:30 flight, but it's like, it's an odd time here.
You know, to Eddie's point on softball.
Yep.
There is a disconnect when comparing softball to baseball. Reason being, baseball's made it to the promised land. And they've made it 7 times under Dave Van Horn, and they've come really close to a national title twice. Softball is not there yet. That's what they're trying to get to. And it's got to be so frustrating. And look, I don't get a chance to watch the softball games because I'm at all the baseball games, and these are basically happening around the same time. There has to be such frustration inside the confines of the softball facility that you've been so good in the regular season and put yourself in the position to play at home, and it hasn't happened. And with baseball, the disappointment is 2 years long of not going to Omaha. The full disappointment is not winning a national championship. You got to get to Omaha first. And that's right now the glass ceiling for softball. And I agree with Eddie about representing the program very well. And I think Courtney Duffel is a fantastic coach. And I can't figure out any reasons other than somebody would point out, well, they choked or, they were cursed and all that kind of stuff. But it's just got to be so much more frustrating on the softball end of it because baseball is viewed as one of the best programs in the country, and you can point to the trips to Omaha. You can't point to that with softball right now. You can't point to having the best player in the country, and that stands for something. But when people look at, I think, who the best programs are, they're going to look to the teams that have been in Oklahoma City.
The thing, I was around town, and this was Mountain Home that I'm talking about. I live in Norfolk. And 3 or 4 people came up to me, recognized me. They, some people know me around town, and they were hurting for these girls. They'd all watched this, and they said they'd watched a lot in the last 2 or 3 weeks because their games are on TV. You have to go to ESPN Plus. But what kept coming up yesterday to me was how much bad luck for both their pitchers to have food poisoning at this, at the peak time. And, to battle back with, taking IVs and fluids to be able to pitch. And that's just got to be awful. Or, that's complete out of the girls' control and out of the coach's control. Just bad luck.
877-377-6963 to get with us on the Lewis Automotive Hotline. Before we break, I got to remind you about WT Equipment, your home for New Holland ag and construction equipment sales, parts, and service, featuring high horsepower row crop tractors and combines, utility tractors, hay equipment, compact track loaders, and mini excavators. WT Equipment has all of it at their 8 locations, including Springdale. You can call them or stop by any store or just give a look on their website, WTEquip.com. WT Equipment is your partner in progress. Back in a moment to wrap up hour number 2 of Halftime.
Exclusive coverage at the Fayetteville Regional, presented by the Stadium Shop on Razorback, Our Best Bank, and Shelter Insurance agent Chris Dooley.
I mean, you couldn't ask for a better series than what we got right here.
Hey, it's James Teague with the Teague Law Firm. I'm excited to be back on Halftime with Phil and Matt Fridays at 12:15.
We're kind of thrown at the umpire. Like this, we'll just call it what it is. And I overthrow it, and I actually spike it onto the plate. It hits the front of the plate, pops up, and hits the umpire dead in the Adam's apple, knocked out.
Goodness gracious. Come check out our new office at 4201 West New Hope Road in Rogers. The Teague Law Firm. If we can't help you, we'll talk baseball.
The 1-2. He struck him out swinging.
Hi, everybody. Larry Rath here for Rath Auto Resources and the Meineke Car Care Center, where all we do is keep you rolling. If you're looking for the best used car your money can buy, check out our great selection of road-ready certified vehicles with warranty. If you're trading or selling a car, let us give you a free second opinion and leave with a check in your hand. If you're keeping the car you have, let us take care of it for you in the Meineke Car Care Center. Plus, follow us on Facebook for special offers and fun contests. All the happiest drivers are rolling with Rath. Rath Auto Resources and the Meineke Car Care Center, Fort Smith.
At Wave Rural Connect, our mission's simple: improve the quality of life in our communities. We've expanded to several non-member areas to help new communities. If you live in areas near Altus, Branch, Coxville, Mountainburg, Murray, Spur, or Ozark, Wave Rural Connect may be available to you right now. Check availability online at signup.waveruralconnect.com or call 1-833-492-8372. Wave Rural Connect will continue opening new areas throughout 2025.
It's almost summertime. That means barbecues, graduations, weddings, and gathering with friends. River Point Wine and Spirits has all your favorite party supplies. You'll love our clean, organized store, full of all the best liquor, wine, and beer. At River Point, We're a family-owned business where customer service is always our priority. Your journey, our spirit. River Point Wine and Spirits, Grand Avenue and I-540.
Equipment down? Got a leak? Lost pressure? Don't let hydraulic problems slow you down. At Central Hydraulics in Fort Smith, we've got the power to keep you moving. From hoses and fittings to full system repairs, our expert team delivers top quality service fast. Central Hydraulics specializes in hydraulic pumps, cylinders, and custom-built solutions, so you can get back to work. Heavy machinery, farming equipment, construction rigs, if it runs on hydraulics, we've got you covered. Visit Central Hydraulics today or call 479-646-0471 for fast, reliable service.
All power, zero compromise. Eagle Cordless Outdoor Power Equipment features advanced lithium battery technology that exceeds the power and performance of gas without the noise, fuss, or fumes. From mowers and trimmers to blowers and pressure washers, one battery powers over 90 tools. No wonder it's the #1 rated brand in cordless outdoor power. Power beyond belief. Visit EgoPowerPlus.com to learn more or to find an Ego retailer near you. That's EgoPowerPlus.com.
The Old Fort Days Rodeo begins Memorial Day, and Jelco Outdoors is ready to get you and the family ready for the largest sporting event of the year in the River Valley. Save up to $30 off on select Western boots by Ariat, Durango, Justin, or Watson, Tony Lama, and Twisted X. Buy 2 pair of Ariat or Wrangler jeans and get a 3rd pair free. Plus, receive an Old Fort Days ball cap free with purchase. Jelco Outdoors, the Old Fort Days official merchandise store. Get ready for the rodeo at Jelco Outdoors in Fort Smith.
Are you looking for a great deal on a previously owned vehicle but want to avoid high-pressure sales? If so, you need to visit Edwards Auto Sales in Roland. For over 30 years, Ernie Edwards and his staff have helped folks from Arkansas and Oklahoma River Valley buy a quality vehicle and offer a buy here, pay here program as part of their services. Some restrictions may apply. Come visit Edwards Auto Center newly remodeled facility, 3 miles west of the Garrison Bridge, the first car dealer on your right, or log on at edwardsautosalesinc.com.
He lives in a very bad part of town. And everybody, yeah, tries to put my Snoopy down.
Welcome back into halftime, live from the Crabtree RV Center studios. Crabtree RV Center, where RVing is life.
Anybody ever found out who Sloopy was? That's the McCoys with Rick Derringer on the guitar, and I think that's him on the vocals too. Derringer passed away yesterday at age 77. You may remember him from Rock and Roll Hoochie Coo, which may have been my favorite song on the Dazed and Confused soundtrack. But then Derringer must have a lot to do with my way of thinking, just because, guys, he produced Weird Al Yankovic's first 5 albums. So if Weird Al's one of my heroes, and he always has been from the age of 6, the dude who produced his first 5 albums should be one of them as well. And if he also wrote and performed Rock and Roll Hoochie Coo and worked with the Edgar Winter Group and Steely Dan and Cyndi Lauper, Rick Derringer is worth bringing up the day after he passed away at age 77. And Hang On Sloopy, I didn't even know that was him. That was him. That's the McCoys. And I still don't know who Sloopy is.
Me neither.
Some people think he's singing Snoopy, but it's not. He's singing Sloopy. Here's an interesting little bit. You saw that Tommy Tuberville has decided to leave his Senate seat and run for the governor of Alabama, and apparently Bruce Pearl is being floated by some folks, including, this is on the On3 article, one Republican told the publication that he is planning to run for Tuberville's Senate seat, which, this has nothing to do with the politics of it, but seems to me Pearl's got a pretty good gig as a head coach of a basketball program that he has raised up from the ashes.
I hope he does. They'll still fall back into the ashes.
I imagine they I don't know if anybody quite could keep him at that level that he's got them at the moment.
He's a great coach.
Man, I would not have thought that would be where it goes, but I guess if you got one Auburn coach, that he had an undefeated season at Auburn, right, but not a national title, if I remember Tuberville's time there correctly. So why not replace him with another Auburn coach? It's just interesting how things may end up in the state of Alabama. 877-377-6963 is our Lewis Automotive hotline. Into our third hour in just a moment. It's you, it's me, it's Matt Jones, it's Kristen Johnston, and Hall of Famer Clay Hundred. Stay with us.
Your home is your biggest asset. So when you decide to add a sunroom, a patio cover, a new driveway, or new windows, you need to call a company you can trust. Sawyers has been part of your community for over 30 years. They're insured, licensed, and have 100% financing for all of their products. Take all the worry out of your next project. Call Sawyers and let them handle it from permitting to completion. Sawyers, serving the River Valley and Northwest Arkansas with a full showroom located in Fort Smith or online at sawyers-sunrooms.com.
Up to $10,000 off on select GMC Sierras at Harry Robinson Buick GMC. The GMC Sierra will conquer the road with confidence. Up to $10,000 off. Or lease the all-new 2025 GMC Hummer EV with hands-free driving assistance and go 0 to 60 in under 3 seconds for as low as $900 a month. Harry Robinson Buick GMC. We are professional grade. Harry Robinson Buick GMC. Exit 11 off of I-540 in Fort Smith.
Hear that? That's the sound of perfection at 46 Steakhouse in Alma. When you're craving a perfectly prepared hand-cut steak, 46 Steakhouse delivers a big flavor with every bite. Every meal starts with their famous hot rolls with honey butter. From burgers and sandwiches to steakhouse salads, there's something for everyone. 46 Steakhouse, located at 108 Highway 71 next to Harps in Alma. 46 Steakhouse, where every meal is a masterpiece. It's sad that we live in an unsafe world, but we do. Would you be able to show the police who was at your home if something was taken? Guardtronic installs alarm systems as well as camera systems. We here at ESPN rely on our Guardtronic installed cameras to keep an eye on what's going on around our building, as many of you do. Guardtronic has been serving the River Valley for over 60 years. Call Guardtronic for a free estimate so you'll be able to show the police who the bad boys are that took your belongings. License E50.
Tuning into your favorite team's game or actually going to the stadium is better when you feel at your best. If something's not quite right, reduce tension and pain and increase flexibility with expert-assisted stretching at StretchLab. Each session is customized to your body's needs with your unique goals in mind. Visit your local StretchLab today or go to StretchLab.com to get up to 50% off your first 50-minute stretch. Plus, get an additional $10 off with code FAN10. That's code FAN10 at StretchLab.com.
ESPN Arkansas weather.
For today, partly sunny skies. Our high temperatures this afternoon in the mid to upper 70s. We'll see showers and a chance of some storms tonight. An overnight low will drop down upper 50s to low 60s. Showers with a few thunderstorms on Thursday. A high in the low 70s north, upper 70s south. I'm Sally Russell with your forecast on ESPN Arkansas.
The weather is brought to you by Cop CDL Academy. Call them today at 479-632-1050. Cop CDL Academy, expanding horizons.
KERX Paris Fort Smith. The Bud Light Countdown is on. Arkansas football begins in 94 days. Coming to you live from the Crabtree RV Center studios. Broadcasting on ESPN Arkansas and streaming on hitthatline.com.
We got a good one tonight. You got a team in here that could respect you. Oh, ask me if I'm all right. Why can't they dominate? And we not doing it.
We're going to go get one and celebrate on somebody else's field.
Yeah.
Both said you had very motivational words at halftime.
It's halftime with Phil Olsen and Matt Jones.
From the bottom of my toes to the top of my head. What's my hot dog? Let's go, man.
The angles were so bad, we showed them at halftime.
What they were one Razorback.
Like, what in the world were we thinking?
It's vintage Matt Jones. What the race? Heard it.
Call or text 877-377-6963. Now, here's Phil Olsen and Matt Jones.
Back into the third hour, 101 in the afternoon on ESPN Arkansas and hitthatline.com. Phil Elson, Matt Jones, Christian Johnston, and Hall of Famer Clay Henry take you up until 2 o'clock. And then Ruskin and Zach, well, not Zach, I know he's out, but I think Ty is with Ruskin, so they'll take you later on. I was looking at the SeatGeek page for Arkansas baseball tickets for the regional. You can get a full session ticket, that's for all the games, for $315. If you're looking for just a ticket to Friday's opener, it's $49 right now. And I'm not sure if that gets you in the hog pen or a chair back, but there are seats available, but you got to go to SeatGeek to do it. Those tickets obviously sold out pretty much immediately once they went on sale. So you might want to get your tickets as soon as you can because first pitch is coming up in 49 hours. Not like I'm counting. Looking at some of the quotes coming out of SEC, I want to call it media days because that's what it comes across as. I know it's meetings, but this is also this is tailor-made for microphones and coaches and athletic directors making statements and sometimes talking to each other through these statements through the media. Brandon Marcello spoke with Brian Kelly, LSU head coach, and this, according to Coach Kelly, SEC coaches want to work out a scheduling partnership with the Big Ten, which would guarantee one non-conference game for every SEC school against the Big Ten. But I think that would leave 2 Big Ten schools out because they have 18 and the SEC is 16. But I think this makes absolute perfect sense, and it goes along with I don't know if this changes the conversation about 8-game schedule or 9-game schedule, because it's really more than anything, I guess it's about playing other Power 4 league teams, and maybe it's more about playing the other 800-pound gorilla being the SEC. But I think, Matt, to me this makes sense because if you're going to be the tail that wags the dog, so to speak, the biggest oar in the canoe, I think it makes sense for them to play each other on an annual basis, line it up dependent on the standings, don't have the athletic directors, the coaches have anything to do with how these matchups are created, make it the same way you do the basketball challenges. I think it makes perfect sense for football. Do it.
I would love that, and I love your idea about lining it up on the standings. So if you finish first the year before, then you'll play the first place team in the SEC, not the other way around. You don't want it to see that way because then you don't want Arkansas. You want Arkansas playing somebody equally. We'd be playing Minnesota. We'd be playing somebody that you think maybe you match up with Bielema in Illinois. Maybe there's a year you play them.
But to me, it's just like, Clay, this makes such perfect sense. You already have a rivalry now between these leagues, and the feeling that, well, there's going to be 2 matchups of SEC Big Ten in the playoff, maybe more than that, and maybe it'll occur in the championship game. But I think it makes great sense to do it in the regular season too. It's just the thing about that is that would probably have to go along with automatic qualifiers if you're going to line these leagues up against each other and risk first place, second place, third place taking an L, which can damage their standing in the committee's eyes for the football playoff. Well, then I think at that point you're looking at automatic qualifiers, 4 of them for each league. It makes sense, Clay, that if you're going to do a scheduling partnership, well, then you're going to get 4 playoff teams into the playoff no matter what.
I'm waiting for the shoe to fall. There is something that's coming that we just 2 years ago would have never even thought about, and whether it be SEC, you play 10 teams plus 2 other teams. I mean, the schedule is going to be so that there's so much money that comes in that the revenue share ability. That's what they're trying to get to, is that they're trying to balance their books because of the $20 million or the 22, whatever it is that's coming. They're going to try to find that money, and the only place that I know you can't get it through season ticket sales. That's already maxed out in my opinion, and you can't get it from boosters. That's maxed out. You can get it from TV, and the only way to get that money is to add more marquee games that they like.
Well, so the contract is already signed for the next football playoff. We just don't know what the structure is.
I'm talking about for the regular season.
Yes, but this is on the big pot of money that they're all trying to divvy up here, and you're looking where can you expand it. So you can't expand it through the playoff because
Correct.
that contract's already written.
Yeah, we're on the same page.
Yeah, you can't. I agree with you. Don't do it through increasing ticket prices or concessions prices because you've already you've kind of bumped it up already right now.
Uncomfortable. Yeah.
Yes, and uncomfortable I think is the proper word. The where this expansion for dollars comes from is from your TV partners. It comes from ESPN or Fox, whomever it is that you figure out if you're going to have one of these challenges. Doesn't ESPN own the ACC SEC basketball challenge? So they make the matchups. They decide it, and who's going to guarantee us better ratings? Well, that's what we're going to put on there, and you pay money for it. That's what you do with this football partnership too.
So do you know where the money's coming from?
It's coming from advertisers.
No, it's going to come from us. It is going to come from everybody who watches TV. Their cable bill is going up.
Well, see that's true. You just follow the money and everything.
Yep.
And I had a text chain with somebody
They're going to send it on down the line.
Well, the Lewis Automotive Hotline. I was going on this with somebody earlier, and they said, "Well, it was the coach's salaries exploding that got us to this point." Well, but the coach's salaries exploded because TV money exploded. And why did the TV money explode? Well, because you love college football so much that you watch 4 games a weekend. And because of that, well, then the ratings are at a certain place where ESPN figures, well, we're spending X amount of dollars on keeping college football. We've got to raise prices on our advertisers. We've got to raise prices on our cable fees. And it all comes down to who's sitting on the couch watching it.
There we go. That's my point. Yep. And we're going to watch. And I haven't heard, lots of people tell me that they have quit watching, but then I talked to them and they watched. There's nobody that's walked away from the game that I know of. And, I go to duck camp or whatever. Well, guess what we do? We watch games. I mean, it's every one of the guys there are saying, I'm not watching anymore. But when it's time for, 1 o'clock, there's a game on. 3 o'clock, there's a game on. 6 o'clock, there's a game on.
Yeah.
Watching it all the way till we go to bed, one after another. And I said, did you watch these at home? Well, yeah. Well, you told me you don't watch anymore, but you've proved it that you do. They don't like where things are, but it's the thing to do.
And that has been the point that I've tried to make really throughout the last 5-6 years with fans who have, complained about the state of college football, and I can understand where their concerns come from because it's not the same thing.
But they hadn't walked away.
Well, that's the thing that goes along with it because things are not going to change in the way that you, the fan, might want it to go back to the way it was before. It's never going to go back to the way it was before. But the way it's not going to change in an iteration that you'd like to see it if you keep watching while the changes they're making are, in your mind, maybe ruining the game, but you still have the game on Saturday and still listen to these shows. I'm not telling you don't. I'm not telling you stop watching, but that's really the way that I think people voice their opinions as to whether or not you've had enough. And there have been a lot of Razorback fans that have said they've given up on the football team and given up on this and that with the athletics department. You're not going to spend your money there. But then there's somebody else that's waiting to spend their money and replace you. So
they may not be buying tickets. And there's plenty that I know that aren't buying tickets anymore, that it's, priced them out, but they're watching.
They're watching at home.
Yeah. And
that's like our friend Bobby. That's like Bobby Smiddle, Hog Noxious. I mean, he gave up the season tickets. I know he's watching every game at home. He's just not spending the money to be there at the ballpark and doesn't have to worry about maintaining the kilt anymore because it doesn't have it anyway.
He told me how much those seats were costing him, the 2 or 3. I can't remember if he has 2 or 3. And I'm like, yeah, I'd have given it up too. I mean, it ceased to be fun when it cost that much. I was surprised somebody didn't step up and say, I'll pay for those tickets for you, Bobby. We need you in those seats. We need you on the fence,
and he made his fame during postseason. I still remember when he stood up and pointed at the umpire for like 10 minutes.
That was
straight.
beauty. That was pure beauty. I mean, he went to Omaha right after that. I bet he had his picture pointing with fans 1,000 to 2,000 times.
For a moment, I wasn't even sure it was him for real. I thought he'd like find a way to build a wax figure of himself.
It was just a poster sitting there, yeah, because he didn't flinch.
It takes a lot of talent to be able to be that for that long in that kind of, I guess it was warmish, especially when you got a kilt on.
Hey, he is one of my favorite humans, absolutely. And I've heard people say they didn't like his deal. I loved it, and I miss it. I got to be honest. And I went down and sat beside him for a game late in last season and wrote a column, and it was as enjoyable a day as I've ever spent. And we talked, and he would pause the conversation to do his routine, and I enjoyed it so much. And he knows I told him that.
Chris texted in out of Springdale, and he says he loves the changes in college sports. And you're not the only one, Chris. We've had a lot of people text in that feel that even though the sport is much more run by the athletes right now, all that is just undoing the imbalance that has been going on for years and years. And I think you're one of them that views it that way. But he also says, I just want Arkansas to be at the cutting edge of that change. And that's the thing. You got to be creative. And I think I think they are trying to be creative here. I think the way that they've constructed the general manager's role at Arkansas and not made it a general manager just over football, but kind of did it over the whole athletic department and filtering it down from there through the teams that they're going to be spending revenue share dollars on. Maybe that is cutting edge, because there's no one way to do it right now. Now, I guess there used to be for years and years kind of a model of how you run a college athletic department, and now that model is broken. And you got to figure out what works and what works in a way that wins. More than anything, that wins. 877-377-6963 is our Lewis Automotive hotline. Remember, tonight is a Wednesday, so get the kids over to Joe's Grill and Cantina because coloring contest, breaking out the crayons, kids win cool prizes. It's kids karaoke night Wednesday, and there's a great meal for the kids for just $5. That's every Wednesday night, Joe's Grill and Cantina, 3400 South 74th, right across from Harps and Fort Smith, online at joesfortsmith.com. Back with more halftime right after this quick break.
I think it's your girlfriend called.
Text the Lewis Automotive Group hotline.
Thanks for watching us here on ESPN Arkansas. Download the brand new Hit That Line Now app in the Apple and Google Play stores. ESPN Arkansas, more than just radio stations.
Tommy Kraft here. When it came time for new gates and some fence repairs at my home, the Fence Man was my first call. The Fence Man does it all, from large commercial jobs to small residential repairs. Wood privacy fence, vinyl fence, commercial or residential chain link, even custom wrought iron fencing. 479-782-3936. 18 months, same as cash financing with approved credit is now available. If it involves fencing, the Fence Man does it. The Fence Man. He ain't afraid of no work. 479-782-3936.
Sandy White Perch. Big old slab. C'est bon, sacalé.
One beautiful crappie.
It's a paper mouse. Some serious crappie. Nice speck.
We got crappie.
They might go by different names, but all prefer the same thing. Bobby Garland, America's favorite. White perch, slab, sockeye, papermouth, crappie, speck, crappie baits.
I call it dinner.
Don't take less when you can have it all with Taco Bell's $5, $7, and $9 Lux Cravings boxes. There's the $5 Classic box full of craveable faves. The $7 Supreme box for your swankier side. And the $9 Cantina Lux box has a whole world of tasty indulgences, including the slow-roasted Cantina Chicken Burrito. Get Lux for less with the $5, $7, and $9 Lux Cravings boxes at Taco Bell.
Lewis Automotive has been serving Northwest Arkansas for over 75 years and just getting started.
Our knowledgeable sales team is here to find you the perfect vehicle to fit not only your lifestyle, but also your budget.
Our factory-trained service technicians keep your vehicle running at optimal level.
And if you're looking for genuine parts and accessories, our team has exactly what you need.
Relax in our comfortable lounge. And when your car's ready, we'll return it to you spotless.
Thank you for being a part of our story.
Come see us at Lewis Automotive Group, where you're more than a customer, you're family.
Dad all day.
I need to sit though.
Finally make a putt. What though? Tap in pars.
Golf is back. Shop polos, hoodies, and Q-zips at Rhoback.com.
Get 20% off on your first order with the code RUSH25.
BetOnline is the world's most trusted betting platform and your number one source for all your sports betting action. Baseball season is in full swing and we're into the NBA and NHL playoffs, and BetOnline has more ways to stay in on the action with the latest odds, news, and scores, even live in-game betting while the games are being played. With the largest selection of odds on everything from the MLB, NBA, NHL, and UFC, BetOnline remains the best online source for all your sports wagering information. In between games, head over to the BetOnline Casino with all the top Vegas-style games, including poker and live casino. Bet online. The game starts here.
Thanks for watching us here on ESPN Arkansas. Download the brand new Hit That Line Now app in the Apple and Google Play stores. ESPN Arkansas. More than just radio stations.
Tommy Kraft here. When it came time for new gates and some fence repairs at my home, the Fence Man was my first call. The Fence Man does it all, from large commercial jobs to small residential repairs. Wood privacy fence, vinyl fence, commercial or residential chain link, even custom wrought iron fencing. 479-782-3936. 18 months, same as cash financing with approved credit, is now available. If it involves fencing, the Fence Man does it. The Fence Man. He ain't afraid of no work. 479-782-3936.
Sandy White perch. Big old slab. C'est bon, Sakale.
One beautiful crappie.
It's a paper mouth. Some serious crappie. Nice speck.
We got crappie.
They might go by different names, but all prefer the same thing. Bobby Garland, America's favorite. White perch, slab, sockeye, papermouth, crappie, speck, crappie.
Love until your heart hurts. Wander till you reach your destination. See, take me where the desert meets the ocean.
Make sure to follow Halftime on Twitter at Hit That Line AR and on Facebook and Instagram at Hit That Line. Call or text 877-377-6963. All guests join us on the Lewis Automotive Hotline, serving Northwest Arkansas for over 79 years. Home of the Lewis Guarantee. Now back to Halftime with Phil Elson and Matt Jones.
Beat 3.
Was looking at the Big Ten football standings. Just wonder if you're going to do a scheduling partnership, it's got to be one that makes sense. You got to have the best against the best, and then I guess you cut off the fat of the very end of the Big Ten, which means you wouldn't have Northwestern and Maryland playing in this because they didn't. Well, no, it'd be Maryland and Purdue. Purdue went 0-9, so you would line it up 1 through 16. I don't have the standings in front of me, but at 3 and 5, here's the difference though: Big Ten plays 9, SEC plays 8. So there's going to be a little difference in how you line the standings up. But it would look to me that you would play Rutgers, USC, or Washington. Those teams finished 4 and 5. Michigan State, Nebraska, UCLA, Wisconsin finished 3 and 6. It'd be any one of those teams.
Now, we talk about SEC, Phil. You talk about SEC going to 9 games. If let's say we do this, let's say you do the Big Ten Challenge, whatever you want to call it, does the Big Ten come back then to 8 games and try to get more non-conference games? You know, because it essentially it is a conference. I mean, it's a big. I know it's at a conference, but that's a big time as far as for your RPI or whatever you're using it for.
Well, we may have one conference before it's all over.
Fair enough.
Well, that's the thing. See, I wondered you were hitting that earlier in this hour, Clay. That it feels like there is something that SEC athletic directors know, and are just like giving little tiny hints about it, and don't want to spill the whole beans on this. I even brought up a quote earlier. I think it was Scott Woodard about essentially the number I think was 64 when you're looking at Power 4 essentially, and you're looking at to me, it does feel like this is the schism and the chance, if you're going to have some kind of a super league, it's got to happen before the next playoff happens, right? Like you can't do it. You can't do it if you continue with playoffs that involve all the group of five, and essentially more than half of your membership in Division I, is not going to make it there. And I thought 64 is a number that works. The reason is, so every sport in college athletics, I think outside of hockey, uses a committee. Now, they go by RPI, go by net, NPI, and all that kind of stuff. And the football committee, I think, uses certain metrics. But the hockey tournament uses a metric called pairwise that also factors in RPI, head-to-head matchups, records versus common opponents, and they line it up. They line it up 1 through 12, and basically the rankings on this computer are the rankings that they go into the tournament with. The hockey tournament is 12 teams. That's what your football playoff is right now. You know how many Division I hockey teams there are? 64. This would make sense for a football league with 64 teams in it. And I think if you divvy up the Power Four and add Notre Dame, you might be at that. You might be at that number.
Close. Yeah. You just got to make sure you don't get left out. It's just like, and everybody's looking out for themselves. But I just remember, the COVID year when we just had all the SEC games, and I think that's where we'll be eventually. I mean, all SEC games except, there'll be a crossover Big Ten game. There'll be some of that, but there won't be. You won't be playing UAPB. You won't be playing Alabama State. Those teams will disappear from those schedules, in my opinion. And TV desperately wants that to happen.
Now, one of the things about this, and you know how important independence is to Notre Dame. If you're going to have a super league, well, then Notre Dame has to join it.
They lose their scheduling apparatus. Yep. And NBC is kind of keeping a close watch. That's their little piece of the pie. And ESPN wants. I mean, they get Notre Dame every time they play a road game. They want all of Notre Dame.
The more I think about it, the more I want to do away with the selection committee for the football playoff. And I'm sick of hearing about the eye test. That's what you hear from the teams that lose to Kentucky and lose to Oklahoma when they shouldn't lose those games. And the eye test has absolutely nothing to do with whether or not you deserve to be in a playoff round. And I've said this over and over. It's like watching Tennessee baseball right now. Maybe the best collection of talent in the entire country for college baseball. Does that make them a winning team necessarily? Well, not really for the last 6-7 weeks. A collection of talent doesn't make you a winning team. Ole Miss was good enough to be in the playoffs. They lost to Kentucky. They didn't deserve to be in the playoff. Alabama was good enough to be in the playoffs. But then they lose to Vanderbilt and Oklahoma. They don't deserve to be in the playoff. No eye test fixes that at all. So I want to do away with the committee. I want to go back to maybe BCS, which for me, if you're choosing just 2 teams for a championship game and you're not doing a playoff, BCS doesn't work. If you're choosing 12, 14, or 16, now I think it works. I think it works really well.
I like the BCS, Bill, because these coaches, the margin of victory matters, and then you like to see coaches get fired up and act like toddlers, but it's like somebody all of a sudden, you're getting beat by 24, they play action pass, now you're getting beat by 31, and they just fuming. I love it.
A computer also doesn't have human biases, which everybody will point towards. When it comes down, there'll be biases that may be put into whatever equations are used. But I think that there will be reasons for those equations to be figured out the way that they are. And look, if it works for hockey and you've got the same amount of teams in the playoff and you have the same amount of teams in the overall super league of what college hockey is, why would it not work for football? I mean, we're talking about RPI. We're talking about head-to-head matchups and records versus common opponents. The head-to-head matchups and the records versus common opponents is all the information everybody dregs up to argue about who belongs in the playoff to begin with. Now you've got this computer program called Pairwise that can do it for you and doesn't have the human biases. But of course, it makes too much sense, so they won't do it because Mike Leach has the real reason for why I have committees anyway.
I would agree with you 100%. And, you know, they say that by having more and more people on the committee and, you know, recusing each other, that it comes out all right. Yeah, I haven't seen it come out all right yet. They keep having to change it every year. You know, like they've changed the seating this year because guess what? They got it wrong last year.
I guess we got it wrong last year. Remember that whole great idea of guaranteeing a bye to the conference champions, the top four?
It was way too complicated.
It didn't really work very well. So we're just going to do it. We're going to do it a different way. And then you know what you're going to do the year after this next? You're going to do it a different way again. You're going to have three different ways of doing something over 3 years in the football playoffs.
Somebody's going to get hosed. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Well, you can always crave something sweet and delicious during dessert time. And right about now, you've already had your lunch. And so I guarantee you're craving something sweet and delicious. Andy's Frozen Custard has you covered with the greatest frozen treats around. I'm thinking right now about the triple chocolate concrete. Andy's chocolate frozen custard blended with chocolate chip cookies and melted chocolate chips. It sounds incredibly, disgustingly good. It's at every Andy's Frozen Custard locations in our listening audience, Northwest Arkansas, Fort Smith, Conway, and North Little Rock. Andy's Frozen Custard, walk up or drive through, they're ready to serve you. We're ready to talk to you or read your texts. The Lewis Automotive Hotline is 877-377-6963, and we're back in a moment.
I am the one who knocks. This is Halftime.
That's the ease at which you get information. You want it, you get it. Like that. Ask your phone. Group chat. Smartphone. You're always connected and informed in real time. No waiting. So if you're diabetic and still using finger sticks to read your blood sugar, what are you waiting for? Knowing your blood sugar levels instantly is important for managing diabetes. Call US Med at 888-665-0696. To learn more about continuous glucose monitors, a real-time instant method to track your blood glucose, US Med is an approved provider for Medicare and over 1,000 private insurers. And the best part? Call 888-665-0696 and we'll give you a free insurance benefits check today. So call 888-665-0696 today. That's 888-665-0696 and manage your diabetes as easy as...
You're listening to Halftime Live from the Crabtree RV Center studios. Crabtree RV Center, where RVing is life.
Your home is your biggest asset. So when you decide to add a sunroom, a patio cover, a new driveway, or new windows, you need to call a company you can trust. Sawyers has been part of your community for over 30 years. They're insured, licensed, and have 100% financing for all of their products. Take all the worry out of your next project. Call Sawyers and let them handle it from permitting to completion. Sawyers, serving the River Valley and Northwest Arkansas with a full showroom located in Fort Smith or online at sawyers-sunrooms.com.
The Solid Rock has been locally owned for over 46 years. When was the last time you were there? So much more than a bookstore. They have Christian t-shirts, church supplies, Bible studies, devotionals, home decor, gifts, and of course, a large selection of Bibles. And Bibles are engraved free of charge while you wait. Now, you can get custom laser engraving on select gift items and some Bibles. Located next to Sam's Club on South 74th, The Solid Rock is your source for faith-based books, music, clothing, and more. The Solid Rock, 452-4844.
At Dobson Fiber, we're helping you build stronger connections by bringing the fastest internet network available to your business. Why fiber? Fiber internet provides reliable, symmetrical, blazing speeds. Without any interruptions or buffering, you can rely on Dobson for all your data needs. With Dobson Fiber as your premium internet provider, you can focus on the things that matter and the connections you build. To see if fiber is available to you, visit Dobson.net. Dobson Fiber, building stronger connections.
Tim collects bobbleheads. A lot of bobbleheads. Baseball bobbleheads. Race car bobbleheads. Little Chihuahua bobbleheads. He's got an entire room strictly for bobbleheads. Does he need them? No. Is his wife mad about it? A little. But Tim works with Empower, and he got good at money, so he can be a little bad. Ooh, horse bobblehead. Classy, Tim. Empower. Invest well, live a little. Start today at Empower.com.
TGI Fridays on Rogers Avenue, Fort Smith has an incredible lineup for their meal deals. This includes crispy chicken fingers for only $9.99, served with seasoned fries and coleslaw. Whiskey glazed chicken slammers, $10.99. Buffalo chicken slammers, $10.99. Grilled salmon for $15.99. And Friday's big ribs for $14.99, all served with a side and fountain drink. Don't miss out on their happy hour, karaoke on Tuesdays and Thursdays, and 50-cent wings on Monday. TGI Fridays, I-540 and Rogers Avenue, Fort Smith.
Up to $10,000 off on select GMC Sierras at Harry Robinson Buick GMC. The GMC Sierra will conquer the road with confidence. Up to $10,000 off. Or lease the all-new 2025 GMC Hummer EV with hands-free driving assistance and go 0 to 60 in under 3 seconds for as low as $900 a month. Harry Robinson Buick GMC. We are professional grade. Harry Robinson Buick GMC. Exit 11 off of I-540 in Fort Smith.
Your home for every Razorback football, basketball, and baseball game. ESPN 95.3.
Pardon me, you left your tears on the jukebox. I'm afraid they got mixed up with mine. I don't mean to cry. It's just that I noticed you going out. Looks like two. Let's fall to pieces together. Why should we both fall apart? Let's fall to pieces together, right here in each other's arms.
Welcome back to Halftime with Phil Elson and Matt Jones. Got a question or comment for the guys? Call or text 877-377-6963. All guests join us on the Lewis Automotive Hotline, serving Northwest Arkansas for over 79 years. Home of the Lewis Guarantee. Let's get back to the show with the voice of Arkansas Razorback Baseball, Phil Elson, and Razorback football legend Matt Jones.
Have you been to 46 Steakhouse in Alma? If you're hungry for a meal, it's more than just food. 46 Steakhouse in Alma serves up tradition with every bite. Hand-cut steaks, including their massive 46-ounce ribeye, juicy chicken, hand-breaded catfish, and every meal comes with those famous hot-made rolls and honey butter. Folks just can't stop talking about it. That's 46 Steakhouse, ready to make your family feel right at home at 108 Highway 71, right next to Harps in Alma. 46 Steakhouse, where every meal is a masterpiece.
Did you just say 46 ounces?
Well, I guess that's why the name of the restaurant is 46.
No, I get it.
Yeah,
I get it,
46-ounce ribeye, yes.
Doesn't sound possible.
I
remember the steakhouse out in Amarillo where I think was it a 72-ounce?
I think it's in the 70s, yeah. But you eat it, you get an hour to devour the whole thing, then you get it for free.
But you got to eat the fixins too.
But
all
you
the
got to
fixins,
eat
yes.
potato. And then they bring you a cream pie thing.
And you can't cut the fat off of the thing either. It's you got to be the weird grandkid in Caddyshack. You got to not only eat your fat, you got to ask for everybody else's fat at the table.
Who was the
Spalding?
A left-handed pitcher for the Phillies or the Cubs? Mitch Williams, was that?
Yeah, he was Wild Thing.
So didn't they do their spring training in Surprise, Arizona?
Oh, would they go down there and have a contest?
Well, and then when they break camp, they drive their vehicles back. And apparently the Wild Thing could go in there and do that. His teammates would watch. Nobody else would do it, but he'd do the whole thing and get it free.
Well, judging of the way that he pitched, that would be the only thing his teammates enjoyed watching him do. Eat the 72-ounce steak.
And all the other stuff.
Ugh.
The cream pie to finish it
72 ounces of meat, and that includes, I guess, the bones part of that, but that's 72 ounces of fat, and then everything else that goes with it. You are basically trying to eat 5 pounds of food.
Then he rubs his hair, though. He had the shine.
877-377-6963, our Lewis Automotive hotline. Sterling's here. Sterling, could you eat a 72-ounce? Heck, could you even eat a 45-ounce steak?
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, that's where we're at right now.
No way. Not, especially not now. Maybe when I was 22, 24, I could get a good run, but now there ain't no way, no how.
That's we get a text.
It's not the right way. It would not be a good run.
Andy in Mountain Home remembers the movie The Great Outdoors with John Candy, and I think Aykroyd's in that too, and he eats the old 96er in that movie too. That's right. Oh, my gosh.
It would be a bad run, if you know what I'm saying.
Go ahead, Sterling.
Guys, a great talk about the football and the playoff. Great discussion. But I'm going to turn back to the baseball, if y'all don't mind. Looking at the bracket field, and Clay or Matt, if you have any thoughts on it, but looking at it, who do you think of the top 8 seeds have the, for lack of a better term, the easiest road to Omaha? Mine, by looking at it, I would say LSU. And that's not to say that if they meet up with Clemson that would be an easy. Once you get to the super regionals, that's that goes out the door. But I'm just talking about the region they in and their potential opponents in the other region besides the number 1 seed. LSU, they got a nice favorable path.
Yeah, it's favorable. They get Little Rock in the opener. The other 2 teams are Rhode Island and Dallas Baptist. DBU, they're one of those programs that are just they're in the regionals every year, but it's pretty rare that they make it through to a super. And they may have made it to 1 or 2 in these last 11 years. But that'd be the team to watch out for. I think Texas has an interesting field as well, getting UTSA, Kansas State, and Houston Christian. I don't know if there's anything that's necessarily a pushover in some of these cases, and I don't know the Big 12 well enough or the Big 10 well enough. But I do like Arkansas's draw. I look at Auburn. Auburn got NC State, Stetson, and Central Connecticut. Stetson can scare you sometimes. You obviously remember what NC State did here in 2021, but I think that's a fairly favorable draw for Auburn
Bill,
as well.
have you made the case yet for eight teams to be all from the SEC hosting a super regional? I know you said we were kind of getting on that. Which one, I guess, to Sterling's point, which one would you kind of be more worried about?
More worried about, honestly, I'm looking at these. Maybe Vandy. Maybe
because what you just said with Texas regions, none of those teams scare me. I know you see DBU they're usually there, but you're like none of those teams are going to beat Texas.
Let's talk about LSU for a second.
Sure.
I really, and if you listen to the scouts, their 1-2 punch pitcher, their starting pitcher, that's as good as it gets. But it kind of slips after that. I think LSU in a 3-game series is dynamite because you only have to win 2 games. But to win a regional, you have to win 3 or 4. It can get a little bit scary towards the end. And that 1 and 2 guy, they're not going to pitch a second time because they're too valuable. They're about to be top draft picks, aren't they? And I don't think LSU is going to score a ton of runs. Their offense is good. I don't think it matches Arkansas. They just got those 2, haymakers, that they bring at you right off the bat. But after Saturday, they've got to, they win the first 2 games. They got to figure out another game to win. And I also am really interested to watch that Friday game with Jackson Wells pitching for Little Rock. And I know that family. My daughter is really close to the family, and I've kind of watched him grow up. And he was a third baseman until real late in his high school. He's gotten better and better and better, and he is terrific. And I think that will, he's through a complete game in their conference tournament, and he's been, he led the country in ERA last year. And I'm not, saying anything, the Ohio Valley may not be a loaded, bat league. But that's going to be an interesting game out of the chute because I think he'll hold LSU down. He can pitch. But I think that them getting out of their regional will be tougher than them winning a super.
Yeah, I think the same about Tennessee.
You're right.
But Tennessee,
You're
if
right.
they get to a super, they're hopefully going to be coming to Fayetteville, where they've already lost 2 out of 3. And I feel the same way about Tennessee as I do LSU. I think LSU's got a better 1-2 punch on the mound than Tennessee does.
But Tennessee's good.
Yeah, they're good, and they have, that you got to hit your way out of a regional. And we talk so much about the pitching in a regional, but you got to hit your way out.
Sunday is a hitting day.
That's what that Sunday is about. And really, that's what Sundays usually are about in the SEC. But you're not playing somebody on a regional on an SEC Sunday that's already played a game that afternoon, and it wasn't against you. So yeah, for regionals, that's what TCU did 2 years ago. They hit their way through Fayetteville, and they just kept it going from there. Kansas State, they hit their way through the Fayetteville regional and beat Hagen Smith to do it. There's so much talk on the pitching. You're going to win this regional based on just scoring a ton of runs. I think they'll do it too.
So I like Arkansas. Roots is really good. Engage Wood is kind of a wild card, but I like Arkansas's pitching 3 through 10 better than just about anybody in the country. Maybe Vanderbilt would be, but Vanderbilt just doesn't score runs. That's their problem. But their pitching is really good in the bullpen, and that speaks to Sunday. If your bullpen is good, that's who's going to be pitching on Sunday. Your number 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 guys.
That's right.
And some of those guys will pitch on Friday, and then
some of those guys. That's what I was going
Sunday.
to say. Some of them may pitch Friday.
Yeah.
They really will. Here's another pitcher to think about the idea of starting Friday's game. Aiden Jimenez. I only say it because they moved him into the rotation in the Tennessee series, because I think that was the role they envisioned for him moving forward.
This weekend. You got it.
He didn't come out of the bullpen in the game against Ole Miss and Hoover, because I don't think they want to use him as I can't say whether they want to use him in this role or that role, because I think he would have pitched on the Thursday in Tennessee had the Hogs had a lead to hand to him, but they didn't have that. So there are plenty of options here in terms of the Friday starter. It's not going to be Zach Root, and I don't think it will be Gage Wood. So the other guys who've started games are Ben Bybee. Bybee's been getting hit around a little bit. Tate McGuire. Maybe you don't give the ball to a freshman on a Friday as a starter in a regional, but he started 4 games. Colin Fisher. Fisher hasn't started in a while. I don't think it would be him. And then there's Jimenez, who's gotten 1 start. And look, if you're going to keep this thing moving forward, you need to have somebody who's kind of used to starting by the time you get to Omaha. Like you don't necessarily need 3 starters for a super, because in that case, if you've got a lead on a Friday in that super, well, then you may give Jimenez the ball, because the next day you're going to start Gage Wood, and then you hope you don't worry about the last day. So I wouldn't be surprised if it's Jimenez.
What about Dylan Carter?
Well, I don't think they'll start Carter, but he's one of those
long relief.
Yeah, he's one
really
of those.
Good.
He's one of those guys you bring up 4 through 10. That is a big reason why Arkansas is favored to win this regional.
I love him.
Favored to make it to Omaha, and one of the favorites to win the national championship.
He will eat some innings this weekend.
Yeah, I think he will. I wouldn't be surprised to see McIntyre do the same. I think you get a couple of innings from Christian Fouch, and I think you save Fouch for Saturday. Because Jimenez has been the closer, for most of the year. Fouch has looked really good the last couple of times out, and that might be one of the big things going into this postseason. Plus, you brought up yesterday Parker Coyle, and just that Coyle, with his first game back, closed down LSU with a game on the line and then pitched against Tennessee. They throw him into pressure cookers, and they'll do the exact same thing again with Parker this weekend, because he's already shown he's ready for it.
Yeah, I mean, McIntyre, he might finish off a game. He might finish off Friday's game.
He might. I do. And
he looked really good,
because he looked outstanding the last time he got.
Oh, he just stuck it to Tennessee, and that ain't easy to do. I mean, it was fun to watch. Looked like his velocity was up. Some rest might have done him some good. We've always thought that he likes to pitch a lot. Well, maybe that's not the best way for him.
So Matt had asked earlier. I brought this up, Clay. I think there's a really good shot for 6 SEC teams to make it to Omaha. Now you are at a place where there's a chance that 8 get there. In order for that to happen, Mississippi State has to win the regional in Tallahassee, and then they'd have to beat the champion of the Corvallis regional, which probably is played in Corvallis, and that's a tall order. Oklahoma would have to make it through the Chapel Hill regional and then beat the winner of the Eugene, Oregon regional, and I think that may be a tall order, though Oklahoma is good. I think they may make some noise. But other than that, Texas, I think they get through. Ole Miss and Georgia are matched up against each other in their supers. So is LSU and Clemson, but Kentucky, I don't think Kentucky comes out of the Clemson regional, but it's a possibility. Arkansas, Tennessee, you already know that's a potential super regional matchup. I think Florida's going to get through Conway, Coastal Carolina. I think Florida is good enough, and if they do that, they play the winner of the Auburn regional. And then there's Vanderbilt and Alabama could be matched up against each other. Bama would have to win in Hattiesburg, and Vandy would have to win their home regional. If any of these things happen, you're very well looking at, first of all, there could be 5 SEC versus SEC supers, so that guarantees a berth.
That's 5. Yeah.
That's 5 right there. And then you just need another one to get through, whether it be Texas, Mississippi State, or Oklahoma. Texas would be the team that I think could do it. I don't think you're at a place where 7 or 8 teams make through, but I really wouldn't be surprised if 6 SEC teams make it to the College World Series.
So how would you haven't asked me, but I'm going to throw it out there.
Shoot.
I got Arkansas winning it all.
Good. I mean, there's real reason to think that.
Yep. I just think this is Dave's best team, and it's not because of one thing. It's because of everything. It is because they've got good depth in the pitching staff to hang tough when things don't go well. They can score runs, and they play solid defense. And I look at this, the guy that has changed my mind about all of this is Helfrich, the catcher.
Mm-hmm.
And his ability to keep the ball fair. He hit it hard a lot last year. He just couldn't keep it fair. But he's playing through the middle of the field just enough. Now, he still cranks one so far foul that, it's like they're not going to find that ball. His bat is so quick on anything middle end. But I think that the way he is hit, when your catcher can hit, it just changes the dynamic because so many teams, the catcher is just out there. Well, I'll give you 2 positions where usually your shortstop doesn't hit and your catcher doesn't hit. And when those 2 guys hit, your team is different. And that's why I like this Arkansas team.
Hey, have you tried out new brand Rhoback anytime recently? It's the brand that redefines comfort. Best hoodies, best joggers, polos, performance tees. And you can go online to Rhoback.com and get 20% off your first order by using the code RUSH25 at checkout. RHOBACK.com, RUSH25 at checkout. Get 20% off your orders. Look at the Rhoback hoodie, Sprint joggers, Azalea collection, Spring Golf collection at Rhoback.com. Back to wrap up halftime right after this break.
Exclusive coverage at the Fayetteville Regional, presented by the Stadium Shop on Razorback, Arvest Bank, and Shelter Insurance agent Chris Dooley.
I mean, you couldn't ask for a better series than what we got right here.
Superior Siding and Windows have been improving homes in Fort Smith and the River Valley for over 44 years. Whether your need is siding, vinyl windows, doors, or gutters, Superior Siding is the one to call if you want it done right the first time. Call 479-646-7888 for a free estimate. 100% financing is available, and Superior Siding has AAA rating with Better Business Bureau. Superior Siding, your first call, 479-646-7888.
Are you tired of the overcrowded fitness centers? Would you like a fitness option where you can actually work out? Then let's hang out. The Hangout is Fort Smith's newest fitness facility. It has an 8,000 square foot gym, indoor tennis, pickleball, and basketball with more sports coming soon. The Hangout offers group and individual training in the gym and boasts 3 active tennis pros to help you grow your game. Stop in today at 5400 Gary Street or thehangoutfs.com for more information. Be a part of something different. Fitness, sports, and more. Let's hang out.
Come see Cody and the gang at Advanced Mechanical Performance. You can find them at 3201 Wheeler Avenue in Fort Smith. Need repair or service for your ATV or UTV? Advanced Mechanical Performance can do it all, as well as taking care of all of your power sports parts accessory needs. Give them a call today at 434-4161. That's 434-4161. Or stop by 3201 Wheeler Avenue. Advanced Mechanical Performance. It's what you should be striving for.
Today is the day. After countless hours of research, cutting back expenses, and 9 months of anxiously waiting for her, today is the day you finally bring home your new car. It's also the day to protect her with an auto policy from Shelter Insurance. Our policies are competitively priced and include new car replacement coverage if anything were to happen to your new baby.
Call Ted McAvoy in Van Buren.
The Old Fort Days Rodeo begins Memorial Day, and Jelco Outdoors is ready to get you and the family ready for the largest sporting event of the year in the River Valley. Save up to $30 off on select Western boots by Ariat, Durango, Justin, or Watson, Tony Lama, and Twisted X. Buy 2 pair of Ariat or Wrangler jeans and get a 3rd pair free. Plus, receive an Old Fort Days ball cap free with purchase. Jelco Outdoors, the Old Fort Days official merchandise store. Get ready for the rodeo at Jelco Outdoors in Fort Smith.
Need assistance with door and window projects? The Home Depot can help. From inspiration and materials to ordering and installation, our free Millwork virtual apron service can get you moving and doing. Plus, we speak Spanish too. Our associates can help you tackle complex jobs without you leaving the job site, saving you time and money. Call us at 1-833-HD-APRON or visit homedepot.com/MVA. The Home Depot. How doers get more done.
Who can you trust to sell your home for the most money with the least amount of drama? You need a team of agents with decades of experience, commitment, and of course, tens of thousands in marketing. I'm talking about the Limbird team. Tara Limbird, Limbird Real Estate Group, has sold over $1 billion in real estate. Tara's team can give you a cash offer in 72 hours, or use Tara's high-octane marketing to sell your home quite possibly for thousands over asking. Find out more at limbirdteam.com. LIMBIRD.
Save up to $4,000 on select Buick Envisions at Harry Robinson Buick GMC. The Buick Envision showcases inspired design with exclusive features in this 5-passenger SUV. Or drive the brand new Buick Envista, a stylish crossover for as low as $399 per month. These are limited time offers. Experience the new Buick at Harry Robinson Buick GMC. Exit 11 off of I-540 in Fort Smith or online at harryrobinson.com.
Call or text the Lewis Automotive Group hotline, 877-377-6963.
Crazy. I'm crazy for feeling so lonely. Crazy, crazy for feeling so blue.
Welcome back into halftime, live from the Crabtree RV Center studios. Crabtree RV Center, where RVing is life.
Well, it's been fun today. We invite you to download the Eastside Liquor Halftime Podcast. It'll have all the highlights of the show, which is pretty much all 3 hours. Grant Hall joined us. We had Clay Henry with us from 12 up until right now. And I think it's just Ruskin with Ty standing by to take over for the next few hours on our programming. Tomorrow on a Thursday, talking with Dudley Dawson, batter up with Bubba Carpenter, Brett Dolan, heavy on the regional, of course. And let's see, you got NBA playoffs tonight. Is there
I think it's over, Phil. I think Oklahoma City's at home, better team, better depth, league MVP. Really no answer. Minnesota had one game and they won by 40, but it was because Oklahoma, it's almost a gentleman's sweep. They weren't trying. I think it's over.
You think the same way about the Pacers and Knicks?
I got the Pacers. I think their team's is better now. I think Jalen Brunson's the best player on the floor, but as far as team, and I do like Pascal Siakam. Man, that dude, he's a beast.
Indiana's really good at getting the ball out of Jalen's hands.
Yeah, they have
a double him.
I like their coach. Their coach Carlisle might be my favorite of all the coaches left.
I never understood how he got out of Dallas because I thought he was just terrific.
They just traded a generational talent in Luka Doncic, so who knows what they're doing there in Dallas.
I'm with you, Matt.
Well, they do. They're going to end up with Cooper Flagg. We'll see how that works out for them too. Hey, before we go, I want to remind you about Grit Garage Doors, squeaky doors, broken remote opener. If your door's off track or just need a new door, the local team is Grit Garage Doors, serving the River Valley in Northwest Arkansas, Alma, Van Buren, Fort Smith, Mena, Springdale, Rogers, wherever. Grit is family-owned, operated, and they don't operate off commission, just fair prices with exceptional value. Also, they offer a 15-year spring warranty. This is unheard of in the industry. It's Grit Garage Doors. No job too big or too small. Clay, I know we don't have you next week, so hope the trip is good, and we'll look forward to talking to you when you come back.
Tell you about Flaming Gorge. Yeah,
great to hear about it.
Vacuum one more time, Phil. One more time.
One more?
Before Mom gets there. One more time.
There's probably another 2 more times I got to go around here and still have to wash all the towels. So yeah, Mom and Dad are headed to the house.
Get Gabe to help you.
Did you hear that, kid? You're going to earn your keep today. Happening. You're earning your keep today. That's right. Stay tuned for Ruskin and Zach. For all of us, get up, get out, and get better.
Harry Robinson Salisaw Ford wants to buy or trade for your vehicle today, and they will give you top dollar. Pre-owned car values are at historic all-time highs.